Morning, team. Morning, team. Oh, we got this in the wrong one. There we go. How's it going, folks? Good morning, good morning. Sip of this coffee quickly, and then we're going to get into the charts. Hopefully you all had a good afternoon. I had you set up for that short as soon as the stream finished. We got a 200-point short in Discord, and then maybe some of you got the long and the reclaim into the end of the day on that squeeze. All right, so sticking to a plan, very, very important. We can see what we have here now. All right, it's starting to look more like a failed breakdown. I would like some form of retest down here to make sure. We came right into this load, all right, this 24,000 level with the anchored VU up off the tariff low. Okay, lots of reasons for the market to find a bid there. It's a shame we haven't done it in New York or retest it, but the week is long and we will see. But right now, we are right back into the stuck in the middle with you range, right? But this certainly looks more like a failed breakout. However, all right, and we'll go over this in a minute. This looks very different on the SPY and the ES, so we need to be cognizant of that. All right, but we're still back into this range. Unfortunately, we can't find acceptance above it. We can't find acceptance below it. In theory, we should complete the rotation higher now. All right, if this is a failure, if it's a true failure, we should complete the rotation higher. So really, we should be looking for this move. But we're going to have to see because there's lots of headlines. I want to be somewhat careful. You can see on the higher time frame expiries, we're balanced in absolute neutral zone. So I don't want to get chopped to death. I think given the size of yesterday's move and what we've happened overnight, it wouldn't surprise me to see us get stuck in here for another day and then make a decision on Wednesday when we have red folder news. All right, so let's get some clues out of this on the hourly. I'm just going to move this up so we can focus on this to start with. All right, so yesterday, big drive off these lows like we talked about. All right, we have the anchored view up off yesterday's lows sitting right around the 640s in this high volume node. You can see a high volume node there. We are into we have held a low volume node, but if we look left, it's been a high volume node from the week before. So previous week's point of control area and high node here, all right, holding overnight. So these dips into yesterday's close, holding, and then we've got the drive out towards this liquidity, the top side of this range, and we know there's a ton of stops here, don't we? We know that this was a failed breakout last week on Wednesday and Thursday, and then we rolled away from it. So we need to be careful of that level. This is where sellers keep coming in. This is clearly where buyers coming in. This is where the chop happens, all right? If we get a bid and hold over that, there's definitely a long, but not really interested in that long today. Well, not in, at least ideally not in the morning session, all right? What caused this? All right, Trump saying, hey, we're pretty much done with the war, okay? That is bullshit. If you believe that, you're absolutely insane, okay? All that's happened there is he has got into a fight that he doesn't really want to be in, and the economy is very close to collapsing. So he's got his cronies to bid. He's released the news. That's your news event. And saying we're done with the war. They're absolutely not done with the war. They're not even close to being done with the war. This can drag on a while, and it's not up to one party, all right? And as you would have seen, Iran is definitely not done with it. So just be cognizant of that. Doesn't mean we can't squeeze higher, but the news is drivers for the technical setup. That's the squeeze setup. Now we have to wait. So what am I watching today? Well, I'm watching for drifts back into here, 800, to see if buyers come and step in, all right? If we're going to bid this, I'm looking for this to take out these highs. All right, that's the first thing I'm interested in. If we fail 800 and we stay heavy in this low volume node, then I'm considering a bid down here at sort of 650s. Again, 650s, 700s. All right, so I'm wondering if we're going to bid here or bid here. Okay, if we fail to take out this overnight high, you could argue there's a short down into these areas. Okay, but just remember we're now in range. All right, so it'd be an edge, take partial, maybe a bid up, and we might chop here for a while. I will be cognizant and careful of a breakout and a failed breakout, all right, above this red zone, certainly above these highs. In fact, we can put a couple of lines in here so that we're prepared. Trading View wants to be kind. Of course it doesn't. There we go. All right, that's the ultimate target, and we can put one in underneath. All right, I'm cognizant of this move here wanting to take place, and then what happens after. Do we base or do we rotate back inside? I'm watching current week point of control here as an over-under, right? So if we start to lose this, this, and this, and maybe a bid back up and a retest. So I'm very careful now we're back in that range is what I'm trying to say to you. Very, very careful. But I do think ultimately market would like to take out these 250s. It's just whether it does it today. It might need a pullback or an inside day after the size and strength of yesterday. Very, very possible. Right, 5 minute, you can see the gamma levels. We're now into positive gamma. All right, over the 795s. So again, that's that 800 level that we talked about from the week before, which is why I'm sort of interested in this dip down from previous week node. Right, does that rebid off there in this low volume node off that Trump squeeze? If we give that back, that low volume node off the Trump squeeze, then I'll look for the same move from here. If we start losing this, then I'll look for that rotation. But until that point, it's kind of thinking more bullish rotation possible. Just might need a pullback into one of these. So we'll see. Possibly open to playing both sides of the tape today now that we're in range, but it's my least favorite market, as we all know when we're in range. Right, overnight, you can see what we had here. This was anyone who's in Discord. We talked about this move here happening. We've now completed it, all right, into the 800s, held this node, done this move up towards the 150s, and now we're back in balance, all right? So underneath this, traps can happen. If we stay heavy, that rotation can happen. So watching both of these. All right, let's have a look at the ES and then the spiders. All right, same kind of story here. Back into this edge. You can see we haven't quite got up here, but this is a big level. We can move this down a bit. Right, they're trying to revisit the 850s here. Acceptance over 850s and 880s is the start of a bigger squeeze here. So if they can force this move here, all right, they need to complete it and take out this. Otherwise, drift back into this level would not surprise me at all. And any rebid off that, just like the NQ. All right, so remember, yesterday was a huge move up. Really, we should be looking for a pullback and continuation today. Or at least a pullback and a retest, if not a continuation, is maybe a better way to put it. All right, spiders. This is where it starts to get a bit more interesting, guys. You can see here, failed breakout underneath this pivot, reclaimed right into this chunky section. All right, so like if we just do a volume profile just in here and nowhere else. In fact, let's just do it from the highs. Oh my days, we've been here for so long. Okay, you can see we're coming right into the edge of this, into a node right here at 680s. 680s is your over-under. We get acceptance over 680s, 686 will be the drive on SPY. If we keep rejecting 680s and getting acceptance underneath 75s, then we're going to flop right the way back down. All right, so be cognizant of this area. These 80s and 85s, you can call it. Let's get this on so you can see the gamma on here, because it is going to matter. You'll probably find it lines up. So 75s, they want to hold dips, and then you go 85s is where they're trying to get up to. Doesn't have to be today, but that's where they're trying to get up to. So 74 stays positive, otherwise put support down at 670. Range is big, it remains big. The volatility will remain up, and we'll go over that in just a moment. Okay, QQQ. Let's get a bit of a move on here. You can see this now becomes our over-under, so this flips now. And we've moved up to 603s. We have some resistance up here all the way to 12, so you can see where we were before. So we want to be careful, like we talked about, that failed breakout and the turn down inside. Really, the easier play is going to be dips off some of these levels, okay, to come and retest this. That's going to be the easier play. So if there's a dip in the morning, that will be the easier play. If we start losing this, then I won't really think about dips anymore. I'm going to think about fading it. That's our over-under of the range, right? So under that, I'm fading. All the time we're above that, I'm looking to rotate upside. It might be that we do a morning flush. I might leave it alone, the morning flush, if we do that. I'm going to have to wait and see what the tape looks like. CL still coming back down to earth, right? Just calming itself down after that big pump yesterday. Probably due a little bit of a bid at some point today and then a resell. We'll just have to see. Dixie coming back down to earth as well after trying to reclaim the hundreds, right? You can see we came right up to that 100 mark, coming back inside the range. Might come and retest some of these sort of 98 evens. Let's have a look at the mag quickly. We've got to get a real move on here. All right, Apple, nice push up yesterday. Again, under over, so this now becomes blue. That's the level that they broke down under, reclaimed instantly, and they're trying to get back into this old range from last week. Same area that we're in the Qs, right? This is the last week's range. Traded away from it. We're trying to get back into it, into the 62s and 65s. Looks okay. All the time it can hold 57, 58s looks good. Amazon, God, that looks awful. All right, nice bid off here. Buyers stuck up here, sellers stuck down there, rotating between. That is probably a leave alone until it gets out of that into no man's land. Goog, nice recovery yesterday. I was surprised about the weakness in that, but that's a great recovery yesterday. Now it just needs to hold bids versus 300s. Simple as that. Nice and simple whole number there. Meta, same thing. Good recovery yesterday. Bids now need to hold versus these 40s, 43s to get back into here if we're going to see upside relief. Under 43s, you're going to see downside pressure back towards this low again, right? This is your edge of range again. It's the same story in a lot of these tech stocks where we've started to see some rotation out. Softy looks good, but it might need a little bit of a flush moment to wash some of these guys out. I just wonder. It looks good for upside. Obviously, I'm long in this, but I just wonder if it needs a little trap and set to go. We're going to find out, though. But trying to get back to these 420s, I just wonder if it needs a little flush moment. Nvidia looks strong. Chips looks pretty good. All right, it's never come under that 70. Remember, the market would have flushed if we broke the 70s. Never got down there. Held really well. Back into the middle of the range, right? We can think about basically 90s is effectively top side, 70s is the low side. We're stuck in the middle. I don't think there's a trade here, but if it gets above and holds this, you have to think that maybe it wants to rotate upside again. But like not much edge in this market right now. Really not much edge in the market. Tesla, again, nice recovery yesterday. 400's your level, right? 400 and then 420 on this stock always seems to be sticky up here. So 400's the level. If we can hold 400s or maybe 95s, looking for that rotation up towards the 8s and 10s and then see if it can get to 20. Under 400s and under 95, downside pressure. So should be bullish rotation. Oracle, remember this got earnings coming up this week. So you just wonder, let's see if they price it in early. Is that after the bell tonight? It is. Okay, after the bell tonight. So worth watching that as well. That's pretty much it, folks. Software, I think, continues to catch a little bit of a bid. As heard, Netflix, still waiting for Netflix to come back down to earth. All right, so remember, I've been long in this from the 70s. I'm looking for, if I get very lucky, for them to wash out all these late bulls, and then I can rebid back up. All right, that's it, folks. So ideally, looking for bullish rotation today, if the market's going to be kind. So I want ideally a flush in the morning, flush everyone out, and then we can see what's what. If we don't get that, if we get a drive that clears out and stalls out, then I'd be open to the trade back inside the range, all right, the fade back inside the range. If we base above everything, then obviously that trade goes away. All right, so just over a minute left here, folks. Do I think Netflix will react? Well, I've been long since the 70s. I'm still long. I'm looking to add, but I'm not adding up here. Not that whole number 100. Filled the gap there. So I'm waiting for Netflix to come back down to earth now, and I can rebid it. I'm still long Netflix. We've been long in Discord in Netflix in the 70s. Same, I'm still long in Hood. Did take some profit in Hood. Still long AMD. Still long Apple. Trying to think what else. Still long Oracle. I'm long most of the software names. Oh, and Bookmap's just frozen. Is it Bookmap or is my computer? It's not a good start. Great. I'm going to be blind for the open. Fantastic. Bookmap's failed. All right, hang on a minute here, folks. I'm going to have to shut that down. Well, that's the worst timing ever. It's the one time I really need it. It's for the open. All right, here you go, folks. Sorry, guys. I've got to reload this. I'm blind here. Okay, ES just closed its gap back to the 6.8. Buy through that gap. QQQ's well over it. QQQ's looking for 610 by the looks of it. Previous day high. Feels like Bookmap might be down. Anyone else having this? I can't even open it now. Fuck me, man. Another day of some fucking software that you pay for being down. Jesus Christ. I literally feel blind without it. It's up for you. Here we go. Maybe it's coming back online. There we go. Oh, that's a good start. Okay, so nice opening drive. Casual 70 plus points there, 80 points on your opening drive. Opening M1. Let's get this all open. Make sure that's lined up. Yeah. All right. So opening drive, they're going to try and take out those overnight highs by the looks of it, if they can. Squeeze continues here. And we've got lots of levels up here if it wants to rinse all that liquidity out. Most of the MAG, by the way, opening up green. Tesla 1.20% up. Nvidia flat. Microsoft 0.11% down. Meta 1.5% up. Google 30% up. Amazon 0.20% up. And Apple 0.25% down. Well, it's coming into previous day value area high here. And we'll just see if we peak above into Globex into those 150s and if they're going to set the squeeze on after that or not. I want to be very careful. 150 and above, every time we've come up here all the way into this, we keep failing. 150 to 250, we keep failing. Today might be different. I would have preferred a flush at the open to bid on, and I would have preferred Bookmap to not go down so I could have seen what's happening, but there we go. Hey, my fun and features, that's very kind of you. That's totally okay with me. That's super kind with you. Send me an email if you want. info@flowzonetrader.com. We'll have a chat. Super kind of you guys. Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. I've never worked with you, but that's super generous. Always one for paying forward. I think that's good. Good stuff. Okay, failing up there into that previous day value area high, failing that gamma level, the 180 and the 80s and the 40s. Dip so far holding into previous day point of control, which is also, I just want to make sure, is that accurate? I'm not convinced that is accurate. Definitely not accurate. What is that? What's gone on here? What's gone on here? Is that previous day point? POC? I'd be very surprised, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, nowhere near that. What is that on about? You, mate, get out of it. There we go. That's more accurate. Sorry about that, folks. Not sure why I did that. Okay, finding a bid on New York Open for now. So look above, or not look above, look drive upside, failed into these gamma levels. That was the squeeze 40 to 80s. We'll watch this New York Open. Again, I'm more interested in being a bidder, all right, down underneath these swing levels. If I'm going to be a buyer, it's going to be need to be here or ideally down here. That's the best buy location for me. Code FCT50 for 25 free Flex account, 1 per user. Look at that. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. There you go, guys. What a generous prop firm. Don't see kindness like that many times nowadays. What a generous prop firm. Thank you, my fund of futures. All right, still nothing for me yet. So I was a bit late to the market with Bookmap being like that. So I'm going to watch this PDC and New York Open here. And if we're going to stay heavy under current week point of control, I think there's maybe a rotation down to clean this up. I want to see if they're going to bid off this and take us back upside or not. So just being patient here today, because like we said, we are in that old, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week. This is week number 6 in this balance range, folks. So we want to be cognizant of that. Where can you get the levels for value area high and value area low? Well, you would need to draw them out. Mine are always based on the New York session, right? I'm not. Some people do it based on 24 hours. Mine are based on the New York session. I draw it out from the previous week and the previous day. Very, very simple. Let's get some volume on here now. I've been here for 5 minutes. There we go. It would not surprise me to see somewhat of a choppy session today, given the size of the move yesterday. I really want to be a bidder down in some of this. We're going to just have to be patient. Morning shove on ES failed. Oh, look at those. The 610s on QQQ like we talked about. That was the level. All right, shoved up into there and failed so far. So a higher day so far on the Qs is the 610s. Right, so they're still trying to bid around these 25,000. Wouldn't be surprised if we need to do a bit of a flush before we do anything else. But if we just look where we pinned from, yeah, basically yesterday's close, we're in a range between 830s and pretty much 25,000, 25,080s. So just a tight range. Let's watch this New York Open, see if they flush and stay heavy here, or if they do a little trap and set. I really do not want to really be participating up here alongside if I can avoid it. I'd much rather a flush further down. Still holding that New York Open. ES letting go, right? ES under it, both its VWAPs underneath the New York Open. QQQ's holding on with relative strength here. So a bit of chop and slop here from the Qs. Your volume levels are way lower than mine. Do I need to do that again? Is TradingView sending me on a bad one? Let me check. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. You might have it on. I'm only looking at New York, remember, so it might be why. I'm only looking at New York. My fun and futures coming in hot today. I love it. Looking after the team. Thanks, Matt, or whoever's over there doing that. Appreciate you guys. Very kind of you. Am I in a trade right now? I'm not in a trade right now. There's no trade set up for me. Remember, I'm looking for dips down here, or ideally even down here into the 600s. But 800s is where I'm looking. I don't really want to be a buyer up here. All right, remember, we've done a big move yesterday. Let's think about this. All right, we've done a failed breakout of the lows. All right, we've done a straight squeeze, big old gamma squeeze yesterday. And then we had the news pump. And now we're basing up here, right? The buy opportunity is either going to be under this swing low or down here for me for that rotation. I don't want to buy the top side of a 5-week balance range. Remember that, right? I do not want to buy the top side of a 5-week balance range. You're asking to get smacked. The only way I'll buy that top side of that range is if we break out, clear the liquidity, and hold the pullback, right? And ideally, it'd be a double like that, right? Otherwise, you are risking, you're trying to buy for that momentum after a big shove, right? I need this or I need this. And this is what we looked for overnight. This move here, all right, is exactly what I talked about overnight in Discord. I can show you guys how we prepare in Discord. All right, so the first one's what we're always looking for first. So this move here is what we were looking for last night, and that's what they got. All right, the double bottom with that push up towards 150s. All right, now that we've done this move, we haven't cleared out all the highs. We're expecting, or I'd like to see something like this, or maybe like this. And if we fail the 800s, maybe there's a turnaround underneath. So I'm just trying to be patient because I know we're currently in a range. Oh, dearie me, where's all that gone? There we go. Yeah, it's only 50 uses, guys, from My Fund and Futures. I mean, that's more than enough, isn't it? They give away 50 25K accounts. Very, very kind of them. Once they're gone, they're gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. All right, so just flushing back down to this New York Open. Remember, I'm waiting to see what happens if we come down here at the moment. Mixed bag on the mag, right? Still no trade for me. No trade setup yet. Just being patient. Guys, relax. You guys need to be relaxed if you didn't get one. It was them being generous, all right? Just be grateful for their generosity. Those that got it, those that didn't get it, don't worry. I'm sure we can do some more giveaways. Just relax, all right? Just relax. All right, so failing this New York Open and PDC now. This is our current POC on the developing week, all right, 959s. If we start to get heavy under that, and if we start to lose the 940s, 950s, that's when I think we can start to rotate and take out those swing lows at 829s. And that's when I'm going to be more interested in being a buyer if we can hold sort of previous day value area high. Yeah, to be fair, on Ninja Trader, I do have previous day value area high way lower down at 750s. So there is a big discrepancy there. I see what you guys are talking about. So what we'll do is we'll put another one in at 750s down here. That's quite a big discrepancy. And I'd love to be a buyer off this kind of level down here if it provides that opportunity. The color of the candles, no, they're just based on momentum, right? The reprint color, you mean? They're based on momentum in my flow zone system. So currently, on the time frame you're looking at, which is a 1 minute, you're seeing downside momentum because we're starting to lose the rolling fibs. So we were in a buy. This will print a sell soon, and you'll start to see downside pressure to try and come out, take out these swing lows, which is what you're starting to see at the moment. All right, so they're just rolling fibs. Not sure why that hasn't already printed a buy, to be honest. Oh, it hasn't flipped yet. It will flip soon enough if they don't reclaim. No worries. No worries. So re-squeezing back up. So you can see the chop and slop here. Right back to view up and point of control. Very, very choppy market here today. It's what we expected. I somewhat expected an inside day. I'd like this to fade lower to be a buyer to take out these swing highs. That would be the most ideal circumstance here. Buyers this morning got stuck at 56s. So if we rebid over that, there's an argument for a squeeze. Opening range now set, folks, and we're right in the middle of it. We are right in the middle of it. I'll tell you what, sellers got caught at that low at 970s. There's a good chance here. If buyers want to step on the gas, there's a good chance to take out high of that. It's just very sloppy, but definitely sellers got caught at that low All right, sellers got caught at this low down here into the 68s. That last buy was caught over 55. So that's your rotation right now, basically 70 to 55. Over 55, we should have the ability to make a new high of day. But it's very sloppy, this action. I expect upside pressure, but I just was looking for a dip first, but doesn't seem very willing right now. Building out quite a big node here at 20s right now. Just thick. 92s up to 36s, most of it at 20s. So we might come revisit the bottom side and then see if they rebid this or not. Again, it's not convinced. I think we want to go upside, but I'm not convinced of buying up here. I think it's too risky given the last 5 week profile. We'll see. Sellers coming in here again at the 20s, trying to sell. They're trying to sell these 20s and they're not getting their way. Again, we might see a squeeze. Over 55, you're going to get a big old squeeze, I think. So I might have to join if we start doing this move. Here's the tap of 50 towards 55s. And this is where that buy got stuck that we talked about. Through this, we will clear high of day. Or we should clear high of day if they go through 55s. Really shouldn't be that hard. So we're coming right up towards it. We've hit 51.25, so there's a bit of front running. They know the buy stuck there. Through 55s, we should go high of day. So here's the 55 check. So this first shove into it failed. If they rebid this, they'll probably re-squeeze it over 55s and go high of day. This is a big level, this 55s. We just showed you that delta that was caught there. I need to shove it over this guy. Back down into shelf. So buyers will want to hold 30s now. They won't want to let go of 30s. They want to hold 30s and get through 55s and get over 80s. And then they'll be looking for these 165s on the option market. If they let go of 30s, we can flop straight back down to 90s again. So there's a 40-point rotation. But bias technically is upside. But again, I want to be a buyer down here or down here. I do not really want to be buying high up in premium over the last 5 or 6 weeks. So I'm trying to avoid this right now. So 55's failed again, lost the 90s back down to, lost the 30s back down to the 90s, back into VWAP again. And we're going to keep doing the same thing until they've got one side sufficiently caught. How do I know is the 55's a level? I just showed you because we had outlying buy delta there from the opening drive this morning, right? They held New York open and VWAP here. Can they get back up above the 55s? They've added lots of liquidity now above 55s for them to kind of try and clear out. So it's a big level. Over 55s, they've got a big move above. So again, I'll show you. Outlying delta from this morning, from that opening drive, 55. That's where the big buy got caught this morning. We know that's outlying delta. So that everything above that, that buyer is currently caught. And I'd say these sellers, I'll get this on your screen, these sellers at the lows are currently caught and there's absorption under them. So we're in a rotation. We know we're in a rotational market. All we have to do is look left and we can see that we're in a rotational market. Heiko saying, people in chat just looking for free courses and firm accounts need to take a hike. Be ungrateful somewhere else. Yeah, I think it's important to show gratitude. It will set you up well for life. You know, my funded futures did not need to give away those accounts. It's very kind of them. Very, very kind of them. So those who got them, be grateful. Those that didn't, don't worry. We do giveaways here every day. Your job's to come here and to learn to trade and make some money. So still in this thick level. Again, over 55s, I think there's squeeze potential. If they can hold dips into 30s, which they should have done last time and they failed, so we rotated. So remember last time we were up here, I said they need to hold dips to 30s, get over 55s to get up here and clear out. If they can't hold dips to 30s, they're going to rotate back down into this range. This is the chop, right? This is the chop right now. But bullish rotation possible. But it's just very, very dangerous buying up here. If you zoom out, just zoom out on an hourly or a daily even, will show you enough. Look where you are on a daily. They're still front running those 55s. Once they get through 55s, that buyer will be comfortable and they'll have a chance. They might not get through 55s at all. Right, so here's the move back down into the 30s. They need to hold this, the buyers, to initiate this squeeze up. It's a good hold on that first push down. And they need to clear out. Tempted to get a little piece on here because it's looking a bit better. Got to get through the 55s though. They cannot get through that level, value area high. They're trying. They're trying to hold 30s and get through it, and they just keep getting stuck over and over and over again. The longer they're here without doing it, the worse it's going to be for buyers, tell you that much. Sellers came in this morning also at 25, so they're now out of position, and they came in at what? 947, 948. All right, a little piece on here for me versus 30s, just tight stop. We'll see. I did not want to be a buyer up here, but in case it forces me, if it knocks me out here, I'll just take it off straight away. Still holding that little shelf at 25. Still okay to hold for now. Not going to risk under 25. So 25 to 16 is kind of my risk here. Tiny size. If they flush that, we're going to go lows. So needs to hold 16s for me. Come on. They keep front running in this. They can't get up to that 55. Like this less and less the longer we're here at the moment. They're trying. Very tight stop here, about to knock me out. Very close to knocking me out of those 16s. Good hold of that shelf. All right, my shelf on NinjaTrader is a bit more detailed than this. That's why I can risk that 16s. If we take me out here, take me out. It's okay. Tiny size anyway. Just a feeler. Out now. Oh, I should have known better than to even bother up there. Right in the middle of this opening range. $25,400. What you're watching if we don't break down. Oh, for a squeeze out. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're going to have to take out 150, 230, 250. Top side of the Bollinger is basically at 350. So you're asking a lot to take that out in one go. 500 is ultimately where it wants to go if we're going to go like on a mega pump. I'd just much rather this trade comes back down into here or here for a buying opportunity. I've got a feeling we're setting this inverse head and shoulders to try and just take out the 50s and then complete this move. And this is all the resting liquidity to take out. So it's knocked me out. Tiny size, just a little guy on, which got knocked out. Not worried about that. We had a monster day yesterday, folks. Got hammered on stream for me sticking to my rules, waiting for the short. And then as soon as I got off stream, we hit an absolute 200-point monster in Discord together on the fade. And I think some guys caught the bid back up as well. ES is weaker? Yeah, ES has relative weakness today. It does. Probably because chips have found a bid. Let's have a little look. I think there's... Yeah. Chips bidding up. That's what it is. AVGO, MU, Cisco Systems, some of these names finding a bid. If you look at healthcare, it's pretty much all red. Energy is all red. Financials, mixed bag. So relative weakness in the ES. You missed the short but caught the long. Nice. You caught that squeeze long. Very, very good. Yesterday we're talking about, yeah? Very good. How'd you get to Discord? It's just for people that do the 20-hour course. Okay, write that back down to the bottom side now. So do they break these lows? Do we come and sweep overnight lows now? Do we come right back down into this, which would be wonderful if we could come down into there. It'd offer a much better trade setup. It's where these sellers got stuck earlier this morning into 70s, remember? We're right at New York Open and VWAP now. Come on, InterTrade, I need to see that delta. There we go. So far protecting 70s. Under 70s, you'll get a move down. The 70s, the big delta this morning. Underneath 70s, you'll get a flush moment, I think. Just depends if they can protect it or not. These buyers doesn't look very good right now. Looks like we're going to move lower into this box to me. We're about to find out. Buyers trying to step in here at 78, so they are trying to protect those 70s. Back to value area low on the session, back to New York Open, back to VWAP, everything's stacked. Tight range here, no follow through either side. It's probably going to come back to this buying level at 78. Remember, 70s is the level, flushing these 70s out now. And the range rotation continues. Exactly what we don't want to do on in this market is what we're getting. They're saving the market. Every time we're coming under the market, they're saving it, and we're coming right back into range. And it's just like banging your head on a brick wall for 6 weeks right now. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can come down into some of these, into these areas where I'm interested in being a buyer. The more I watch the live, the more I get motivated to trade. Been using FX Replay to trade New York. So I've learned so much already. Thank you for all the advice, mate. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the super chat gift. All right, I would love us to come down into here. Otherwise, we're going to do a failed breakout of this opening range low and go back upside and just chop around. And we're not going to have much edge if we do that, unfortunately. I'd really like to come down into this grey box at this point. So I'd like to see them reject 90s and 25,000 to move lower. I'm probably going to leave that trade alone and wait for it. So I'd love to see this. If we don't see this, we go back into this again, right? This is your chop zone. Slowly. See if they can come all the way down into here for us. Best bid right now would be down towards 700, to be honest. We'll see. So failing range highs, no clear out. Let's see if we can come and clean out overnight lows then and get into here, and then see if they want to bid it from here or if they're going to let go and bid from here. ES coming right down. It's almost at Globex low already. It's almost at that key level. ES. So I'd be watching 765 kind of level on ES. Old RBS zone. It's also an option level. $2K viewers, 88 likes. No way. Come on, let's get those likes up. Is that true? Come on, guys, get the likes up and we'll give away some courses later on, like we always do. We gave 3 away on Friday. We gave 1 away yesterday. All right, back to this opening range low. You got to watch that delta at the lows. That's 78. All right, so 978. That's where the buyer came in and got stuck so far this morning. He tried to protect low of day, didn't get his move. So he's staying stuck right now. Good excess on that last wash, but I really want them to come down into here. Starting to see the tape chop around a little bit in these 50s here. There's a bit of a battle going on here on the tape. Still just that one tiny little trade for me, nothing else. Trying to get downside pressure through the 37s to the 900s here. I'm interested in the 800s. I'm interested in a bid down in here, or even better, the blue box. And nothing before now because we're leaving opening range. And watch the ES into 765, 760. You need to watch the ES into those levels. Yeah, I'm waiting for the pullback into here to think about the long. Like I said at the beginning, there's a good chance we fade. If we fail this, there's a good chance we fade. I'm going to wait to see if they bid around this grey box or if they lose the grey box down into this blue box. I'll consider the short under here down to here, but I think we will bid today. I think this is just a pullback to get long into on a range rotation. So that's what I'm waiting for. Like yesterday, I wait for the levels, right? I'm not going to like keep flipping my bias. Like I'm just going to wait for my levels to come in. Big buyer coming in there at 23s after a seller got stuck at 20s, by the way. And I'll be watching this for a reclaim of 80s again. That's where that buyer got stuck. We're seeing a bit of a delta shift here into the opening range. So let's just see how they operate here. Bit of front running on the ES in front of that 765 level we talked about. Back inside the opening range now. 978 is the level where the buyer got caught. You get over that, there's potential squeeze upside. Here we go. They're testing 978. This is where that buyer got caught. So there's the test of him. We came 2 points short. They front run it again. So over that is the squeeze. Under that, we revisit New York low. That's your range. Yeah, 78 is where that buyer's caught. Over 78, so there's relief. All the time we're between that, we're going to range between 23s and 78s. And obviously under 23s, we get new acceptance to grey box. This is point of control on the developing week as well. Remember, this is a big, big level. Alejandro, thank you, my friend. Very kind of you. You don't see buying strength there. Okay. Here's the buyer that's caught. We just talked about it. This is the buyer that's caught. Underneath that, this is the rotation to where this buyer just stepped in at the low to this buyer that's caught. Underneath this buying rotation, we're coming down into grey, right? Buyer stepped in this last area to try and protect this level, all right, with the seller caught underneath. The rotation is 23 to 80 until we see a failure of 23, and then we'll look for this move down into the 800s. I'm not going to re-chat anymore now because now I want to focus in because I cannot keep explaining the same thing over and over. There's the rotation still taking place that we just talked about. That's your rotation right now. 20s to 80s is your current rotation. Right, and those are your over-unders. Over 80s and a hold, you get a squeeze. Under 20s, we go down to that grey box. Again, SPY just came short of that 765, that RBS zone. And it's not also an options level, which they're starting to bid off it on the ES, of that 765. That same level on Spiders, sorry, is 674s. Came short of it. Right, so we're coming back towards the top of this range, which is the 80s. Remember, over 80s, they have squeeze potential here. So I'm watching this for a trigger long. Here we go. So let's see. In this now, let's just see. Taking some off into this New York Open. And see if they want to rebid 80s. Otherwise, I'll cut because I'm not going to risk low of day. But I'm just trying to set myself in case we set the squeeze towards higher day. So paying myself a little bit here in case. And then see if we can get up to 25,020s. I need to see this rebid 80s where that buyer came in before. Otherwise, I'll be out. I'm not going to get flushed right the way back down on a failed break. ES into VWAP here as well. So I want to be careful here. Need to see ES reclaim VWAP. So we're aligned pretty well. See if we can get through this 25,000 and squeeze up to 20s and then go high of day. Here we go, is a 25,000 check. Stops now in the money. In case they flush this back down after 25,000 check. Back down to the 80s and out. I can always reload here if they hold. So first one was an L today. Small L on the first one. Second one, nice winner there. No continuation yet, but we'll see now. We'll see now if they base back inside developing profile point of control. All right here is fair value for the current week. Are they willing to do this move? All right, if they can't hold this, again, this is the area where I'd be preferred to be a bidder on. I'd be preferred to be bidding off these areas. But you know, if it shows me people getting stuck and looking for that move, then I have to play it there and just be aggressive with the stop. Right, we're technically starting to see sell momentum come into this now. Look at the flow zone starting to flip. They do want to come down here. It's just whether they got the strength. And again, low of day auction looks pretty good at 920. That is sell side excess. So now we've just had a fail break over 80s, over the 980s. We've come back into that range where we talked about the rotation between 980s and 923s. All right, and if we get acceptance under 923s, then we can come back down into this grey box. Missed the times it was a clean 200-point trade. We'll get it again this week, my friend. Like today. We might even get one today. You got to remember, we talk about this all the time. All right. If we go to a higher time frame, this was a ginormous move. Right, this was a ginormous move. We can't just move straight upside. It's likely that we're going to do something like this, and it doesn't have to happen in one day. All right. It could be that today's an inside bar, right, and we just create liquidity in here, right, and then it can make a decision for that breakout. Right, on Wednesday, all right, so it could be Monday, for example, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or Wednesday, right? So this is a liquidity building phase for the next move. We expect it. Why do we expect it? Because the market doesn't move straight up like a rocket ship, all right? And yesterday was a rocket ship, so we expect some form of reprice for a rebid. All right, new lows here. Let's see if they come down to the grey. Again, I'll be watching that 6,765 to 6,760 on ES. Those are the levels you would want to see bid support come in at. If you don't see that, and we start getting under those levels, it gets a little bit dangerous, all right? Because the next level really isn't until that sort of 12 o'clock shuffle we did down into sort of 7:30, 7:40 to 7:10, all right? So if we start losing these levels on ES, you will lose the shelf that we built yesterday. Maybe we get my grey box. Maybe we come and clean out Globex and we get a rebid from there. Would be nice. Possibly, yeah. I mean, possibly looking for a rebid here. It depends. ES is about to take out the lows, so it really depends how we act. We might do this. We might do something like this. We might do this. We might do none of it and give the whole move back. I'm prepared for all of it, but I'm trying to be long biased today because of the strength yesterday, because we've gone back in range, because Sunday to Monday was a failed breakout of the range low. If we trade under 600s and 400s, then I think we go back to the lows. But until that point, I'm trying to play a rotational higher when it's ready. All right, look at this. ES now trying to bid right off that level, 765 that I've given to you about 100 times this morning. All right, we've just come into it and it's trying to find a bid off that level. Don't tell me what to do, mate. Don't tell me what to do. Right? You guys are welcome to sell down to here. I will trade my plan. I couldn't give a monkey's what you want to do. I'll trade my plan and my plan only. All you guys yesterday did the same thing. Like, don't sell, don't do this. It's a buy, buy, buy. Don't do it. My plan played out perfectly. Wait for excess. Get this move here. All right. Not going to trade the squeeze up in a market which is pro trend down. Once they reclaim this, it's a long trigger back up. That's fine. I'm going to trade my plan. You trade yours. I'll trade mine. All right. That doesn't mean there isn't a short in this market. It means I'm going to trade my plan. It means I'm choosing to ignore what I would consider a counter trend rotation and wait for it to come to me. You never heard, don't give a monkey's. That's Cockney saying. It's the Londoner in me coming out. Okay, so buyers came in at 20s. It's trying to rebid this. Look, it's ES into that 765 level. That's the big bid right now. It just depends whether the spiders want to play catch up to 674. They are trying to rebid this down there. I'd like it a little bit lower. Really would prefer it lower down here. Clean up all these levels. Would be much, much better. Well, we've had for the last few weeks, NQ's been quite happy not cleaning up levels recently. Well, I would just think on the higher time frame, we've just balanced out pretty well. Anyone that's like megally biased, like I would just say, right, based on current week, we have a volume node here. Based on previous week, the POC is right underneath. I think they're going to try and bid from here back up. If they lose these levels, I would agree. I would agree under 800, right? Under 800, there's weakness down to the sixes. So there's a 200-point trade under 800 down to the sixes. But then I still think they'll attempt that bid up because it's previous week's value area low, right? So I'm going to watch this grey box. And if we get stuck under the grey box, then maybe I'll think about the fade and a rebid from there. But we'll just see. Like, not in a rush here. We're right in the middle or back into like the chop from the last 5 weeks or whatever, right? So we don't need to be forcing. Right, back above these buyers who came in at 22s. There is good excess underneath 913s right now, but we haven't quite got to the target that I'd like to see us move to, but ES has got to that target. They have to fill up the volume. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything. That's quite a big assumption, and they have to do that. There was volume there from the week before. They don't have to go down there. They can go down there and fill in that volume down towards 660. They don't have to do it. They certainly don't have to do it today. So don't my biggest advice in trading is like try and stay away from comments like that in your head, because it's so like one-sided that it will stop you being adaptable. They can do that. It's possible they do that. They don't have to do that, right? What's the website called above you? Probably said it so many times. It's not a website. It's a program. It's called Bookmap. So ES coming back down into that 765, 760 zone. Like I said, SPY might need to play catch up to get to 674. Which is basically, all right, they're basically trading into these zones down here on the ES and spiders. They're already here, right, to make you understand where they are. So 920, again, the level. Everything under 920 is sell side. The buy delta is at 920. That is the guy from earlier this morning from like 10 o'clock. What was it? Yeah, 10:02, 150 lot there this morning. So that's a sort of over-under right now, I'd say. They're trying to sell into him and keep him stuck. He tried to buy the lows of the 10:02 candle this morning, and they're watching him to see if they can bid over. If they can't bid over, he remains stuck, and you might get sell-side pressure to that grey box, which is why we keep flicking up into 920 or 920. His actual level is 923.50 if you want the exact level. So now we're back over him. And can they bid over and hold over, or are they going to sell back through? If we can bid and hold, potential squeeze back into sort of that orb kind of level, maybe all the way up to that guy at 980 that we had earlier. At the moment, they can't get through in base. Again, SPY 765 got bid again. VIX just stuck at 25, by the way. I don't think we covered that earlier. Probably should have covered it in the morning show. Not sure why I didn't. We're just stuck here at 765 on the VIX. Just a digestion day kind of thing right now is what I would call it. They ate a massive meal yesterday. Today they're just sleeping it off a little bit. They still can't get over that level at 23s or whatever it is. 23, 25, 23.50. Right, it's this buyer here. Right, this guy here. Keep trading into him. They cannot base over him. See, it's all excess underneath right now. If they can use him as pain, they can flush. But if we get back over that, they will try and squeeze right back up to the 980. So I'm waiting to see if we find acceptance over it, which we're trying to do. They keep tapping up into it. Again, SPY 6765 bid again. Sorry, SPY ES. Come on, Alex. Sorry, it's Tuesday morning. Feels like a Monday morning. I'm pretty tired. They are trying. They're desperate to try and bid over this buyer from this morning. They cannot find acceptance for a base over 23s yet. They are trying. And then they would want to get back inside of 45s, back inside of value if they can. Here they go. So this is their attempt now. Here they go. All right, small piece. Let's see if we can go back inside 45s and start going. Thank you. So here's 45s. Let's see if we can go 60s and inside the opening range, and then we go back up to 80s like we talked about. Beautiful. There's the 60s. I want to see us get a back above 80s and a back above the New York opening print. So locking a little bit in here into this opening range, really nice. Just using their pain now. We've got good excess at the low. Stops already moved into the money. I don't want to see this come back underneath 23s, right? Because that's where the buyer came in, or where he was earlier. So we want to keep him in the money. And we want to come and test the buyer who's stuck at 80s. And if we get over 80s And certainly if we get over 25,000, we look really good for that shove up. We're testing opening range here. And again, I do not want to see this come under 23s now, which is basically where my entry is. Yes, I'm in long. Already paid myself a bit into 60s. I'm looking for 80s, and then I'm looking for acceptance over 25,000 for high of day. All right, and this is just based on people's pain. But we have a nice potential W here. And remember, what was this level? 23s is the level. 23s is the level of the buyer. Right, and this is all sell side underneath. So we've absorbed this. All the time we hold 23s, I'm looking for this. I'm going to take partials on the way up and ideally come and complete this move to the rotation of the high. Here we go. So we're watching 80s now, and we're going to look for acceptance through 80s and 25,000. Here come the 80s. So again, sticking to my bias for the day, not flipping my bias. Sticking to my bias, staying with my bias, staying with the trade thesis. Here's the test of 80s. So they're front running 80s a little bit. We want to get through 80s and 25,000. If you want to pay yourself a bit here, you absolutely can. I'm going to try and hold some for acceptance through 80s and 25,000 to go all the way back to high of day if possible. Why can't you accept a loss? Normally, people can't accept a loss for two reasons. Either they don't have a trade thesis, so they don't have an area to have a stop in, or they're oversized, so when they see the number on the screen, they're unwilling to accept it. So instead of accepting that loss of $100, $200, $300, what you do is you put more risk on trying to get out of that loss, and you make that loss bigger and bigger and bigger. Here we go, folks. So watching 80s here, and then we're going to look for acceptance through this and through 25,000. So you can pay yourself some into here. We have some imbalances up into sort of 90s. And if we go through this and base, we can look for that move up to 25,000 and 20s and then high of day. So pay myself some here and let's see. A big level here. New York Open, whole number, VWAP. It's all here, right? It's all here. So we're paying ourselves into this and we're just holding now to see if we can find acceptance. Again, ES, it held 765. We're right back to that potential key level of VWAP, right? In the 90s. Hopefully we get some W's in chat here. So even this move from sort of 23s, 30s up to 90s, that's still a good move. And if we get 25,000, it'll be 70 points. And if we go higher day, it's going to be multiple 100 points. Here we go. So here's the big test now. Let's go, baby. Let's get through 25,000 and squeeze their faces. It would be really nice. I'd want to see this hold 80s now, okay? That's where I'm looking for this to hold at this point. I don't really want to hold below 80s and give the move back. But if we hold 80s, then I'm going to look for a re-squeeze higher. Come on, baby. Let's hold these 80s and go. Don't drop under 80s. I don't want to revisit 60s. All right, taking this off, I can always add back in. You can do the old drop underneath my stop and then go, are you? Looking to hold that shelf at 80s. Can always add back in if I feel like it's basing out here. All right. You cheeky bugger. All right, let's see if I can get a re-entry now. I'll put a little piece on here for that 25 break, maybe. See if we can get up to 25 20s if we get the 25 break. So getting a little stuck here into VWAP. The 80s is what's key for me. This level here, 80s. Don't know why I can't draw it. Where's 80s? Can we clean this up, please? There we go. This level here is key. This guy here was a buyer here. All right, I want him to be in the money. Otherwise, we're going to come right back down here, which would not be ideal. So I want them to bid around here, or at least this opening range low. If they can't bid 60s, I've got no interest in trading this upside. I think there's a good chance, but they have to bid very, very worst case scenario 60s, and really you want them to hold 80s. They lose 60s, we're going to go right back down to the 23s again where we broke out from. So I'm not on this now. I've got to look for a re-entry because it knocked my runner out coming under 80s. Here we go. Maybe we can get a re-entry through this. Back into this New York Open. Watching this 25,000. We've got a seller up there at 25,000. And they're starting to resell in front of it. Let's see if we can just lift 25. And then we're actually quite thin above. Here we go. Here's the approach. All right, long. Let's see now for the break. If we get up to 20s like I talked about. So already paying myself some because I'm having to play a breakout here for the move. We're going to pay ourselves into 20s and then see if we can go higher day now. Again, we'll not want this to lose 80s now, folks. I'm going to just try and let this work now. It's my second attempt after it knocked me out. So remember, I was long on the 23 break down here. I can show you why in a minute. I was long on the 23 break, got knocked out the runner under 80. I'm long on the 25 break, and I'm looking to take all this out and ideally come up to here. So the gamma levels, we're going to watch 40, 80, and if we get lucky today, we're going to get 165 and maybe 250s. Here we go, folks. So long and strong, sticking with my thesis, not being bullied by chat. And that's not an attack at anyone. I just want you to understand, if your thesis is short, all right, that's absolutely fine. If your thesis was short, don't get bullied out by my thesis. My thesis is to look for the longs off the key levels and traps today. That's why I'm sticking with my thesis. If your thesis is short, you should be looking for your thesis, not my thesis. Don't let me convince you otherwise. Really good. So this is the 20s. Remember, this is the big level. It's our sort of VPOC level. And if we trade through here, we can come and revisit that buyer up at 25,055 and 25,040 and 25,080. Squeeze over 40 is a squeeze level to 80. All right. So you've got to lock some in here, folks. Like this is the area. Think about what we did in this area earlier. All right. We chopped in this area. That's why it's so thick. So you got to pay yourself some here. But if we find acceptance here, we're going to be looking for this and a squeeze out to this. All right. So we're positioned long from here. Unfortunately, I had to re-add here, paying ourselves some here. And if we get that, great. If we reject this block, that's okay. We can just be done with it and just wait for the next trade setup. We're not going to force our way into this. Yeah, mine was short and I am down 3 trades to 2 green. That's all right though, but like that's fine though, bud. Like your thesis was short, you stuck to your thesis. You've had three trades, or I'm not sure if you've had 3 losses, 2 green, or 3 total trades and 2 green. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the process. As long as you're sticking to your process, that is all that matters, right? It's all that ever matters. Stick to the process, all right? If you got tagged out and didn't re-enter, what would I be waiting for now? Well, it's tricky now because of where we are, right? We don't really want to enter in here, right? We don't really want to enter in here. So it's going to get hard here. You can look for this, but then remember, you are buying premium on day, premium on week, looking for a squeeze. It's a very tough trade. So why today? Do you remember I said at the beginning of the day, I don't really want to buy up here. Where I really wanted to be buying was down here and down here. That's where I wanted to be a buyer today. I tried to buy up here because I thought they were trapping and going. It might have been here, I can't remember. And we took like a 10, 15 point loss, which is fine. And then we waited and we played the guy down here. And I can show you now on this screen where we played this. All right, so this guy here was the guy I was using. All right, so all the time, I might have to move this up so you can see it. Sorry, I'm not sure. This guy here, all right, so it was all sell. If we look at this, all right, if you look at this, this is all sell side, all right? This is all aggressive selling. Did we move aggressively? No, we didn't. We got absorbed down there. So what happens when they're using this guy's pain, all right? They're trying to sell against this 23. What happens when we break back over 23? We start squeezing, all right? And we start absorbing. And then we trade into 80s. And then we're trading into 25s. And then we're trading into 25 20s, okay? And if they can, they're going to revisit this buyer up here at 25,055. Over that, we can look for acceptance high. Now, does the high of day look good? No, not really. there's not that much buying excess up there. So there's very good chance that we can print a new high of day. I wouldn't say that this is great in terms of buying excess. In fact, there looks like more selling up there. So I'm fairly confident if we can start breaking and holding, we can potentially get a new high of day today, right? Based on what I'm seeing on the charts. Here we go. So we're looking for a break now, 45s and 55s. So 45 value area high, 55s is that buyer who got stuck from earlier, and then we should see a high of day through 55s. Alex, my NT settings on the video. Yeah, there is a video on my page on how to set up NinjaTrader to make it look more like TradingView, like I have it. Name of that indicator. Why can I never remember what it's called? My brain is terrible. I'm going to have to get it up here. Sorry, folks. It's only because I can't remember. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. It's a footprint indicator. But I tell you what, guys, I am working and have been working very, very hard with my designer to try and get you something equivalent of it for TradingView. It's just that the coding on TradingView, to make it really good, it gets quite heavy with code and can slow it down. So they did enable footprint coding for indicators now as of March 3rd on TradingView. So we'll see. I'm trying my best to find something for you because I know a lot of you use TradingView, not NinjaTrader. I'm trying my best to produce something for you. I've already got my coder working on it, but I appreciate you. All right, so trying to hold 25,020s here. I'm not sure I'm willing to let this come back down to 25,004, but it might be where it needs to go, where that seller was. So I guess I am risking 04s. So my stop's gone in, basically 25,000 even now. Risking, really I want it to hold 04s. The reason 04s, because that's where sellers came in earlier and got themselves caught. It's very possible we do a 980 revisit, and I'm not going to hold for that. No way. I'd rather let that come down and reload if I need to. Ali, thank you so much. Saying you're amazing, Flow Zone Trader. I want to thank you for everything. You're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you all. How do you manage avoid ghost orders? What do you mean by ghost order? An order which you've left on, or are you having copier issues? Normally with ghost orders, it's from copier issues. Yeah, Claude is pretty good. Claude is very good. Oh, spoof orders. Add. Just try and, if they're a spoof, you just got to try and understand why they're spoofing, what they're trying to do. That's all it is. Copy issues. Yeah, copy issues are a pain. The biggest problem you will have with copy trading is using limit orders. That's where you get in trouble, copy trading, honestly. That's where you get in trouble. Here we go. So into this gamma level, 25,040. Look, you can see the green line on your screen. It's a big options level. It's a cool wall. If they get over that, there's a 40-point squeeze up to 80. But I think we will clear 80 because I don't think this auction up here is that good. I think we'll clear 80, and I think they will try and attack up here. I don't know if they've got the juice to do it, but we're positioned for it. Yeah, so the reason limit orders are a problem with copy trading is you have a slight lag. So let's say, I don't know, let's say your limit a dip buy here. And what might happen is that, say you're trading 20 accounts, it might fill 5 accounts and you don't realize, and then you're trying to sell. Let's say you're selling here. All right, and it might fill your sell, but it never filled your buy, and then you've got 15 accounts short as it starts to squeeze up. That's the problem with copy trading with limit orders. You've got to be very, very careful. All right, so look, they're in the squeeze potential here. So now they're looking to hold 40 and clear out 80s. And like I said, I don't think the high of day is a good auction. I think we're going to see a new high of day. I don't think there's enough excess buying up there. That's just my opinion. Right? If we have a look at the beginning of the day, I'm going to check on a 1 minute chart. I mean, there's some, but it's not great. I think we've got a chance to make a new high of day. I really do. I think there's a good shot at it. Well, we're just going to have to see. So back to these 40s then. I'm going to start moving my stop up now. I really don't want to see it under 20s at this point because that's VPOC for me. And there was actually a shelf at 25, so I kind of want to see that protected. Ideally, they just soak 40s and rip and just squeeze now because this is in the squeeze zone where it's orange. Yeah, I'm still in it. Just small size now, though. But I'm still in it. Remember this area here, 55s, where the buyer got stuck earlier. Over 55s, I think we can squeeze and take out a higher day. This was my thesis all day long, guys. I'm not changing my thesis. This is what I'm looking for. We can pay ourselves into this range, all right? If we're lucky, we're going to come and clean out 150s, Globex high, 165, and maybe all of this. If we're lucky. But we're going to pay ourselves either way. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's okay. In the last few days since the war, started to consider a hard market to play. I mean, look, hard is an interesting use of words, right? Hard to me might not be hard to you. Hard to you might not be hard to me. It depends. It depends. I would say the biggest thing is the games being played. You have to understand the games being played in a market all the time. This is like we're just playing one big game of Call of Duty. All right, that's what we're playing right now. The game is about liquidity and pain. That's the only game we're playing. So how do they create liquidity? How do they create pain and use it? So how do they create liquidity? All right, they position themselves so that you and I, as day traders, can't get the short that we looked for all of last week to clean it out. Sunday, they do the big old sell in Asia. All right, they come and hit 24,000. Remember, that was our big target. Here we go. Higher day coming. Higher day coming. Come on. I'll finish this conversation in a moment. Higher day coming. I really don't want this back underneath 56s now. We're in squeeze territory here. I don't want to come under 56s. You see, they front run the 80s. We should get high day. Please hold 56s. I'm trying to get my stop up here. If it flushes 56s, I'll probably take it off. And then it'll probably keep going to 250 for the day just to piss me off. Maybe I'll give it a little wiggle room to 46. Give it an extra 10 points. So stop up at 46 now. What was I saying? Yes, this is a game of Call of Duty. So Sunday, failure underneath 5 or 6 week balance range, right? Down to anchored VWAP off the tariff lows, right? Can cash buyers participate in that? No, they can't. It's a futures market, right? Nothing else is open. Sorry, I'm just trying to watch this tape. I think we're going to lift here, guys, because they're adding liquidity. 85, 100, 110. I think we're going to go for it. Clean out the highs. You move your stop up here if you want. I'm at 45s. I'd really like it to hold 55s and just do one squeeze and clean out. Don't really want to... Look, we're very, very squeezy here. So you don't want to be entering long here. Remember, we're long from down here and long from... Where was the 25 break? 25 break. Here, right? We're long from here. All right? And we're just looking for a clean out of this now. All right? And once we clean this out, I'm going to move my stop right up. I will finish this conversation. Sorry, I'm just trying to manage this trade at this point. Here we go. Let's get through the 80s, create a new high day. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. ES has already done it, by the way. Fantastic. 810's big gamma level on ES. Through that, we're going to go 845s on ES. So your next target over 810 is 845 on ES. So you should be locking some in here at ES. Then you're looking at previous day high, Globex high, 845s. Here we go, 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 here we go. Turn it on, turn it fucking on. Let's rip the faces now. Rip the faces. Don't front run it, you prick. Just go and take it. We're a point away there. Reload and go. Reload and go. Reload and go. Reload and go. Squeezing coming. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. All right, stops move to 55 now. Another 10 points up because that is the shelf. I don't want it to come back there. Let's go. So close. Just come and clean these guys out. 80, 90, 95, 100, 110. All on the book. Just want to... Just a thunderclap like that. Thunderclap moment. Thanks very much. High day. Stops moving up now. And I'm just going to play a trail now and see if we can come. Woo! Woo! Get on my fucking level. All right, let's go, baby. So stop nice and tight now and see if we can keep squeezing all the way up to clean out 100, 110s, 150s, 165s. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. All right, don't want this under previous week value area high or high of day, which is where I have that. Why is that different on here? Why is that different on here? Oh, it's there or thereabouts. Okay, I just can't see it. Yeah, I want this to hold IB now, all right? Because if we don't hold IB, the collapse, right, will be right down to here. So I want this to hold, otherwise I'm done with it. I'm getting ready to cut this on the tiny piece left to tell some into that last push. All right, so I want this to hold and squeeze. Look, we're very, very thin. It can afford a drift down here. I'm not going to hold and give all of this back. I'm not going to give all that move back out of this now. I'm out of it. It's fine. If it goes without me, I'll look for a reload at some point. But I had to lock in there. I can't be willing for me to give this back. You guys can, if you're willing to hold, you can hold for this play here. Can still set up for you. Okay, but I'm now done with this trade. It can go without me. It's fine. Why does it seem like so many people try and trade against you? I don't know. It's human nature, right? Because unfortunately, human nature is... We're going to answer this question and we'll go back to the other one. Unfortunately, human nature is we have an ego. We have egos. And egos will require us to be right so we can tell ourselves how great we are, right? Egos get in the way of trading. They get in the way of trading. Egos are what stop you taking profit. Egos are what stop you stopping out of a trade. Here you go. You might look good here. I'm done with this, but oh, I should have given it more room. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyway, egos get in the way of trading. So we like to battle against people because we feel our opinion is more valid than someone else's. And then when it does something, we can go, I told you, I'm right. I'm told you, right? That's not just you guys. That's humans. That's what happens. I would be wrong to say even I'm not like that. I try not to be like that, but I can be like that. I try and just admit, like, can be wrong. Can be wrong in a trade, but what I try and do is just wait for my setup. For me, it gets rid of all the noise, right? If I'm saying to myself, failed breakout yesterday, we've returned in range, we've had a big push, I want to buy a pullback. Okay, that's it. I then I'm zoned out. I don't need to think about the short. Same as yesterday. We broke down under volume. We should be continuing to fail lower. I'm going to fade a pump into a key level. That was the only trade I was looking for yesterday, right? See how I've changed today to buys because we've changed the narrative. That's why, like, people want to trade against you. And also, why do you think we're going up now? Because everyone went, well, we're up too high yesterday. Short, no short, no short, no short, short it. No, short, please short. Oh, fuck, blown everything up, all right? So, look, if 95% of traders fail, 95% of traders are short in this when we're looking long, right? That's just the reality of trading. And that is why it's a zero-sum game. And that brings me on to the other point of understanding the games being played in this market. I'm going to show you the games now so we understand the games in this market. This looks really good, guys. So I would just watch now. We're into a old high volume level. You are looking for 150, 165, 212, and this should be down here, 250 for your runners, okay? And now I'm going to just quickly show you why I think games are being played in this market, or the games being played. All right, we built out liquidity. Just focus on this hourly chart with me. Just think about Call of Duty, all right? We built out liquidity for here, all right? This required patience, right? While we built this out. This is weekly. Look, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 weeks, okay? Once we broke down from that, all right, they were already positioned net short, right? The smart people, as in Trump's friends, on this, and net long on oil, okay? And they were also net long on VIX, all right? This was all put in Thursday and Friday, these positions, right? They knew what was coming, okay? War gets extended, right? We were looking, remember, we were looking for this move the whole time. The whole time, Alex was looking for this move down into 24,000. This is not by chance that we hit that, right? It was a high probability. They do it overnight so that they can make their money while we're all sleeping. Okay, great. Once they've done that, they get the phone call. Guys, we're going to reclaim here and we're going to do a press conference later and I'm going to basically say the war's done. Okay, great. Look at the bid comes in. Bid, 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 bid. Do we sell there where we should? No, we don't. Do we sell here where we should? No, we don't. Bid, 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 bid. This is positioned where shorts have come in here and are now getting squeezed. We're going straight up, and then we get the old press conference. Yeah, the war is basically over. No, it's not. But this now feels like a small cap trade to me, where that's exit liquidity for them. Think about how many retail bought that candle there at the high. A ton. So anyone who was net long here was able to pair off there without even being seen. Thanks very much. I'm out of it. Done. All right. They lock in their money and then they wait now for a reload. So now they're waiting for the reload, which is into this high volume level from previous week, which we held. There's the W and go. There's the push. And now we're going to try and wreck anyone who was short, who didn't get out here. Their stop is here, and we will try and do this move. And this can be a big liquidity move now for a breakout. And through 250, we will then come and attack the 4 and 500s, right? And then we're attacking this range here. And guess what's above that? A low volume node to get right the way back to the 8 and 900s, all right? That's the game being played. Now, I don't know if we can do it in one go, but that is the game being played. You have to understand, we price in, or I say we, they price in ahead of news for that drop. They price in ahead of news for that pump. There's a reason we went up and then the news came. There's a reason that they were positioned short and then the news came, all right? They're one step ahead of us. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. So we just got to follow the money, follow your own process, all right? Stick to your own rules. All right, into this high volume node, this grey box here. All right, you still look good to hold long. You just don't want to be a new money long now, all right? So still good to hold long, but you don't want to be a new money long. Time to print. I mean, it very well might be, but like we just talked about, right? This is the area where we don't want to be a buyer in today, right? Where we're in now, it doesn't mean it doesn't go higher. When I say I don't want to be a buyer, it just means I don't want to buy the most premium price, right? Remember, I got lured into doing that when I said I wouldn't do it. Look what happened when I did something wrong today, all right? I said today, I don't want to be a buyer up here. I want to buy the grey box, right? I don't want to be a buyer up here. I want to buy the grey or the blue blocks. But at some point today, I thought, oh, they're going to go without me. And I put a small piece on and I took a loss. Why? Because I didn't stick to my rules. My rules were wait for grey box or blue box. So we don't want to be a buyer up here. The only time we can be a buyer up here now would be if we successfully break out and pull back and turn this, all right, into an RBS zone, all right? Resistance becomes support, all right? Then we can use this. Same as this. Resistance became support. It's actually very simple. You don't need order block, this block, fair value, this. Shut up. All right. It's simple. There's the move. Right. There's the move. Right. Breakout block or whatever. It's a breakout retest. It's just a pullback into an order block is a pullback. All right. Into resistance became support. Don't make it too big for yourself, right? It's very simple. And they go, oh, it's not that. It fucking is that. It's exactly what it is, all right? That is exactly what that is, all right? So if we do that up here, breakout, pullback. If we fail the breakout, if we break out, come back underneath, get stuck, we're probably going to fade into the midpoint of the range, just like we did every other week, all right? Just like we did every other week, every other week. Don't make it harder than it needs to be trading. Honestly, don't make it harder. The best way to trade, in my opinion, is to mark out your key levels and focus on trading those zones and those zones only. So where will there be a good price to short? It's not about price. It's about what we do at those levels. I would say, all right, if they're going to come and clean out the daily levels, right, then you would need to see some form of failure, and we're not seeing that, right? You need to see something like this. Maybe it's up here, maybe it's here, right? Something like that. But just know, initial balance now set. We're in range rotation, all right? We're in range rotation, but we're in a bullish move off that range, right? If we're, I have to zoom this out again to make you understand. hard for me to teach on lower time frame for rotation. All right, we are in range rotation. Just think about this whole thing. All right, look at this. This is the range. This is the most part of the range. All right, we've looked below and failed, which is why I was bullish today. Right, overall my narrative flipped to bullish, because if we'd failed this, I'd be looking for downside action. We didn't, so this becomes effectively like a Wyckoff spring. Right, we've reclaimed. There's your sign of strength. We should go to the other side of the range once we reclaim. I'll be looking for continuation higher at this point. Looking for a short now becomes somewhat dangerous, unless we're going to reject this range and you're looking for that pullback short. But I would think they would want to clean this out now. Maybe up here they offer a short, okay, because we have buyers caught up here. So maybe they fill this imbalance, get up into sort of 280s, 300s. Maybe they short there. I don't know, though. We're going to have to see what happens when it gets there. Hi, Eddie. Is there any level that would be a good pullback for a long? Yeah, this shelf down here. Are you on the right channel? I can't remember if I've got you guys on the right one. Yes. All right, so this volume area here now is what I'd be using. All right, so you don't really want a long up here. They can keep going, but I would say that's a bad long. Look how steep we are. You don't really want to do that. You don't really want to long that. It's very, very dangerous. But oh, that box I just put on is probably a decent pullback zone, right? So a pullback, especially if we keep drifting higher. If we think about this, if we keep drifting higher, right, the VWAPs are going to start coming up into here. Everything's going to start coming up to here. So when they offer the short, all right, back down into here, this is an area that probably becomes a long opportunity for return back up. All right, so let's paint out some scenarios here. Some of you might still be in this long, which is fantastic, looking pretty good. All right, let's paint out some scenarios. Scenario one would be all the way up here, drop down, or maybe ideally actually doesn't go this high. Maybe it comes to here, drop down into here, and then a return back in. And then you can take some profit into here and you can hold for that move. All right, that would be a potential. Potential number two would be that they base out here long enough, all right, create some volume here, drop back down, reclaim that. Then you've got a long opportunity here, and you actually have an add opportunity there then, because we've got something structural to play off. Option number three of when I wouldn't like the long so much is if we take out all this liquidity and then fail back in, all right? Because then I think you probably do this, or maybe you don't do that, maybe you just do that for the day, right? But if we clean out all the low-hanging fruit and then come back in, it's going to be, there's less reason to go higher. Hopefully that makes sense. There's less reason to go higher if we already take everything out. So for now, I would say there's no opportunity right now, and we just wait. We just wait. That would be my feeling, how I would trade it. But again, that's just how I would trade it. That's not how you have to trade it. And that's just what I would say. I wouldn't feel comfortable buying this. Look at this squeeze without any notable pullback. Remember, we played the 23s. Right, it's 230 points. Right, it's a 230 point squeeze. We got a good chunk of it. We got 200 points. Well, actually, I had to reload. So that's technically a lie. We took 25 break. So we got 100 points the first time round. And what do we get second time round? So sorry, first time 120 odd points. Oh, no, it wasn't that high. It was here. So we got 200 points total. All right, we took two trades. Well, I took two trades for 200 points. But it's a big squeeze, right? Think about the amount of people saying this is up too high. They'll keep squeezing all the time they're doing that. They will keep squeezing all the time we're doing that. And I tell you what, that level on ES, if anyone bought that 765 level on ES I gave you, you are absolutely laughing right now. $20 points from TP. Nice, whoever that is. I just saw that flash through my screen. One of you saying hold. It's hot. You got to say hodl. What's my P&L for the day? I can show you my P&L. I mean, I've only traded a few accounts because I'm waiting for payouts to clear on some of them. There you go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 grand. Had a very good day yesterday. Some of you might have seen I did 6,500 on my TPT Pro account yesterday, which is nice. Alex, I just opened up my new end of drawdown Apex accounts and readied up. Nice, man. Nice. All right, still going. Some of you look very good. I'm going to be a bit salty here, aren't I? Got knocked out at IB. I wanted that to hold IB. Didn't want to give it wiggle room. I'll be salty because I knew it wanted to drift higher, but it's hard, man. When you're up hundreds of points, it's hard to keep holding, isn't it? It's hard to keep holding. All right, you guys, excuse me. I'm going to get a reload on this coffee. Use the bathroom. How are we doing on the likes here? Let's have a quick look before we go. How are we doing on the likes? Just under 2,000. That's a bit lower than normal. Well, let's get to at least 1,000 likes, and we'll do a course giveaway when I get back. We've already given away. Well, I say my funded futures gave away 25 accounts earlier. Or was it 50 accounts? It might have been 50 accounts, which is amazing. Very kind of them. All right, so I'm just going to get a coffee. You look really good here. So into value area high from the current week, this blue line, which is developing. You're looking for 65s and then these white lines. So 65, 213s, 250s, right? 65s. Make sure you're locking something in if you haven't already, and then you're just hoping it squeezes. You can see above, they've stacked 160, 165. So I think you're going to get it on a squeeze, and that will time pretty well with ES into Globex high, okay? Be right back, folks. Move your stop up with it. Protect your gains. Oh, you're almost there. You're almost there, folks. You're almost there. There are no sellers. There are some sellers up here. 150, 155, 160, 165. But you have to just remember, look at the higher time frame. we're setting up, like we've set up a higher time frame inverse head and shoulders after failing the lower side of the range. Here we go, folks. They're going to come and clean this. Like they're adding above at 190 and 200. You might get a monster squeeze here. Here's 60 and 65s. All right. So sellers starting to try and absorb here. Be very careful now. Sellers are now into the area where they're now trying to absorb the tape. And if we keep lifting here, they are adding levels above at 190 and 200s. I'm a bit salty that I got stopped out on the runner, but there we go. It's all right. It's all right, mate. It's all right. So right into the 65s, and then I think up here is possible. You can see it literally on the tape above me. They are adding liquidity at 90s and 200s. We are driving this market higher right now. Shorts are getting blown out of this market. Remember, the reason for this all comes from the higher time frame. Do not focus on the lower time frame. This is a failed breakout. All right, failed breakout with a squeeze, and we've now built right shoulder to complete this move. All right, and ultimately they will want to come and test this supply, which is fresh. So 280 to 350 is ultimately where they want to test. I'm not saying we do that today, but this week that's ultimately they want to fill in this level here to sort of 280s. Ultimately be where they want to go, I would imagine. Here we go. So 60 through the 65s. They're now looking for 190 and 200s above us, and then 220s. Over 200 looks very, very thin right now. So monster squeeze. Nice work. Did I get any trades? Yes, we were long. Right, we were long from down here, my friend. From down here for the 23 break, I think it was. 23. We were long here. And then 25,000. So lots of people in chat making lots of money. We've not been short once today. Or I should reframe that. I have not called a short once today. I've only called longs. I've only looked for longs. ES targets, JD. Well, right where you are now is your Globex high. All right, so if you get above this, 845, 860, but this level now on ES is massive. It is massive. So you're at your Globex high. If you get above this, 845, 860s. Yeah, 845, 845, 854, 860 for you on the squeeze on ES, JD. So they're going to try and clear it. Look above me. They're trying to clear these guys out above me. You can see them just sat up there. 190, 195, 200, 220s. But big old squeeze. Definitely don't be long up here. All right? As in, don't buy more up here. You don't want to be buying this area up here. It's like this. I cannot believe they did me dirty on that to then hold IB. You little pricks. Looks good. All right, if we think about the measured move of IB as well, we can think about where we might want to go today. All right, you're into the 1.5, so big level. This is a big profit-taking level. If we're going to do the measured move, we're going to go to 260s, so 250s would be cleared out. So this is a big level for IB, where we are now, and if we're going to set a mega squeeze, we're looking for 260s today. So I'd just say 250s, really. But this level where we're at now, huge. Rarely get past 1.5 IB. Fresh trader. That's brilliant. All right, so what I'd say now on this re-squeeze, it needs to hold 65 and 60s, okay? Because you had big buyers come in there at the 11 o'clock candle or 11:01. So 65s and 60s need to be held. There is an imbalance down to 52. But really, you'd want 65s and 60s to be held. That's where the big buyers came in for a re-squeeze higher. But I would be trailing this now with your stop. I'd start trailing this now with your stop. Because we are just in lift, lift, lift territory. Yeah, Fresh, you're a wise person. I don't blame you, mate. It's very true. How many times do I get my runner knocked out? Most of the time. Okay, here's the 65-60 test. Let's say you need to hold this, otherwise they fill this imbalance down towards sort of 52s. Good hold there so far. No pullback at all. Yes, because it's because we are running the stops. I know it's a squeezy market right now. This is what happens in a squeezy market. All right, everyone was convinced we were going lower. All right, so this looks even better now for when they do the short. All right, this looks really good for a buy off this zone, doesn't it? Think about this. There's your W, failed to break lower. There's the squeeze out. If they do come in here, that is a buying opportunity. All right, if we fail under that, you can think about the sell. Okay, but I would be looking to buy that. I'd really be looking to buy that. So we can just wait for the market to come into here now. This is what we're going to wait for. It might be that we just flip this. Remember, let's put this as grey. It might be that we just flip and hold that now. But it's, again, it's not an ideal buying location. But down here now is an ideal buying location. Also, you stopping out there, don't blame you. I wouldn't be sitting through that under 60s either. Nice work, folks. I mean, look, if you got in at 25,000 with me, you got 180 points out of it. If you got in at the 23s, 923s, I don't know how many of you got in here with me and held and didn't get knocked out. That's a 260 point move. Yeah. So all you guys saying that you can't make money from micros or, it's too hard to pass and all this stuff, guys, this market's providing huge opportunities. Don't be the person going, TP hit, take stop loss hit. Why? You don't need to do that in this market. There's plenty of room in this market, like we've just shown. There's plenty of room if you understand how to manage the move. Even I didn't get the whole thing. I only got 200 points of it. I got 100 here, and I got 100 here. All right, and I missed this bit. It's fine though, isn't it? 200 points a day. Do you need more than 200 points a day, folks? Honestly. 6,200 so far. Nice. Very nice. Thank you. Can we short? I would not be keen on the short today at the moment. We're in breakout territory. I mean, there might be a pullback coming. If you're really looking for it, you might be able to find something like this. But I mean, I would say this structure here is becoming important. But I would feel more confident waiting for that. Personally, it's up to you guys. Do I use Market Pulse? I do not. You're going into lunch, and with this pullback, I agree. Going to shut it down so much. Thank you, Alex. You're welcome. Made 1,000, 2 micros on the 50k. Yeah, it's plenty. 545 made. Alex, does Bookmap work on replay? Yes, it does. I'd like to replay this stream with a Bookmap replay in the evening so I can see. Yeah, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. Dug myself out of red with that one. Smarter trades every day. Nice, Justin. Not a day for the Tyson trade. It is a form of Tyson trade, right? There's 2 Tyson trades. Remember, there's the expansion model, which we just hit to the 1.5, all right, because we're in potential trend. And there's the failure model, which would be a failed auction. I would say this is probably unlikely to be a failed auction. Would be the IB to VWAP, which might come later in the day. But right now, we're above this. At no point have we seen a failure. We haven't seen a failure. For a failure, you'd need to come underneath, close heavy, reject, rotate. We haven't seen that today. Quite the opposite. We've seen print over, pull back, hold, complete. All right, think about this. This is 1. This is 1.5. All right, this is 50% of this. Good TP zone. Right into value area high from the week. So we can watch this now as we drift back towards IB and ideally all the way down here. And then I'll consider a rebid. Going to trade with your own capital, is it a good choice? If you're a good trader, it's a good choice. If you're not a good trader, if you haven't got a proven model, if you haven't got proven stats, I'd say there's better ways to use your risk right now. Is it a big difference between end of day and drawdown and trading drawdown? Yes, it's a massive difference. Like literally very different, right? If you are end of day drawdown, you can sit through this whole thing right? And you can afford to let this come right the way back on you on a runner. Right, let's say you're 2 minis long, for example. Right, so that's 4 grand, 8 grand. And let's say you lock one in here. So you lock 4K in, but you give 4K back on the other. All right, in end of day, that doesn't matter. You are net 4,000 positive. In trailing drawdown, you are net minus 4,000. It's a massive swing between these. It's a big difference. So it depends if you want to be a position trader or not. I use Bookmap data, Dave. What do I think about the news tomorrow? What is it tomorrow? Is it CPI? Let me have a look. Yeah, CPI. I mean, should come in hotter, but no, and then they cut the books. So, I mean, I don't really have an opinion. They'll probably cut the books, what they do most times. Like even the jobs number that came out on Friday was awful. And we all know that in the next 3 to 9 months, they'll come out and change that jobs number that they just released. It'll probably be even worse than they said. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter what the news is at this point. If it pushes through this 5-minute fair value gap, do we go short? I don't know. You tell me. That's not my model. I can't see. Someone said, please don't ignore me, but you keep getting... What are you saying? Please don't ignore me. Can you please explain the long position at 24,920? I need to learn about entries so I don't FOMO. Yes. Okay. Right. When they were selling this morning, right, and they were trying to clear out this guy here, which they tapped, double tapped. ES had already sold under it. When they were selling there, we had a big buyer, 150 lot, come in here, right, at 23. See this guy? 150 lot came in and his price was 923. That's where he tried to absorb the market. Underneath that 150 lot, we were very aggressive selling. All right, so from 20s down to 90s, so in a 30-point range, they were very aggressive selling. How do I know they're aggressive selling? We can see it right here. This is all sell side, right? All of this, as in on the right side of the screen, this volume profile, it's all sell side data. All right, so the delta is heavy. Did we move lower? No. All right, look, we move lower, we come back. We move lower, we come back. That means in here, there was absorption taking place, and I'll show you that in Bookmap in a minute. So we absorbed. So there was a buyer saying we're not moving lower here. At the same time as we came into that, ES came into that key level that we kept talking about this morning over and over again of 765 and absorbed the same, absorbed for 20 minutes into 765. So once we break back over this big buyer, right, because these guys are all trying to use him to make him stop out. Once we get back over there, we have a trigger long where we expect to squeeze up to test the next big buyer, who is here, right, 80. So we come from here to 80. Remember, in this candle, I talked about being the rotation from 80 to 20, all right, 80 to 20, 80 to 20, right? We come back to 80, we squeeze over 80, we go 25,000 break, whole number break, and we come right back up to this seller, all right, and this seller. They try to resell versus this seller, 25s and 20. We get over that. You now have all these sellers at the low stuck and these sellers at 25.20 stuck, and we go right the way up, right? Squeeze until we get some buyers caught at high of day. Right, and now we're going to see the pullback. We have to see if they reload. So that's why we got long right down there in those 920s. It's because we could use people's pain underneath 920, underneath the big buyer. We could use people's pain. Right, now if we look at that on Bookmap, I'm going to have to get the time of day that we got down there. 10:05. And tell me someone else who teaches you like this when people want to come on here and talk shit. Literally gifting you. 10:05. Let's go. All right, here we go, folks. right? This is where we approach the low of day. Look at these huge sell orders. 266 lot, 189 lot, 89 lot, 220 lot, 308 lot, low of day, 121. This is a good auction at the low of day. Right, let's box this in. Just think about these orders. Let's box these orders in. Oh, didn't want to do that. Who's more aggressive here? What do you see bigger bubbles of? Green or red? What are we seeing bigger bubbles of down here? Green or red? You guys tell me. I think it's pretty obvious what's more aggressive down there. Yeah. More aggressive red bubbles, which means more aggressive sellers. All right. So more sellers hitting market sell, market sell, market sell, market sell. How many more sellers? Well, 266, 189, 89, 221, 308, 68, 121. We're talking about thousands of orders taking place down here. See these little green guys here, right? These green like blocks. These are buyers absorbing the tape. These horizontal lines are passive buyers absorbing the tape. This 900 we couldn't break below. We absorbed. He was willing to sit there as well. We absorbed down here. So what happens when we start breaking above where all these buyers have come in? Sorry, where all these sellers have come in, where this seller come in, this seller, this seller, this seller. They start stopping out. What happens to the tape? We shift. Look, delta starts going positive. We start shifting and we see aggressive buyers coming in. And then we do nothing but leave these guys stuck and rip their faces off, right? And we're going to go and test right where other sellers came in earlier, which is what we were looking for, the 25s. These guys from earlier, right? We look to 25,025. We come right into their level. We squeeze them out. We go right the way to high of day. And at high of day right now, you will have a buyer trapped, right? Which is why we're moving away from it, all right? So we had big buying coming in here, 496 lot, right? And then some buys at high day. We come under that 496 lot at 60s. Why at 60s? Because look, we had passive sellers into the gamma level. These were passive sellers. To fill a passive seller, we need an aggressive buyer. So this guy is who we're using to trade away from at the moment, all right? So we use the guy at 160. We trade away to where? Where the last lot of buyers came in. Basically, your pivot right in here, this pivot here, all right? You see this pivot? And we're absorbing and we're coming right back to this participant here, 810 lot at 60. And if we get through him, guess what? We have liquidity higher to aim for. We're in a bullish rotational scenario. That's the best way I can explain it. I hope that makes sense. I really like, hopefully that makes sense. All these people that are like, there's a level here and it has to go to it. No, that's not how it works. All right. You have to really understand order flow to make sense. All this is, try and think how, all we're doing here when I'm explaining it to you is giving you a narrative, a storyline. If you're a Malaysian SNR trader, is storyline. What's the storyline? Well, the way I like to think about storylines is who's trapped. That's how we have a storyline. What's that app? That's called Bookmap. It's called Bookmap. All Bookmap is a visual representation of level 2. All right, so all Bookmap is, all right, see this? This is my tape. This is my time in sales. And here is my level 2. So these are people bidding on the tape, and these are people selling on the tape, all right? So red are passive sellers. Blue are passive buyers. Why? Because we will always have at least a 1 tick spread between them, because we don't move an auction until a buyer and seller agree a price. So if a seller is selling above us, we need a buyer to meet him there, which will need to be a market buy, right? Passive seller, market buy. Passive seller, market buy. He buys that. Let's say this passive seller has 10 lots here, and someone hits the market with 50 lot buy, right? Market buy. Well, he's filled that 10. Where's the next 10? Oh, it's 5 points higher. Well, he's filled that 10. He's got 30 left. Where's the next 30? Oh, it's another 10 points higher. We fill that, all right? You have to have both sides on the tape. We can't move an auction without both sides on the tape. If you want to, I can't like, if you want to know more about this, this isn't me a plug, but like, I can't go over this in one lesson. Just go and do the volume and order flow course on my website, all right? Because it's too much to go over in a stream in an hour. Okay, so they're trying to lift. I probably missed the buy opportunity there while I was teaching you, unfortunately. This grey box that we just shifted. So look, this is your classic thing. Is your two leg. Fail to break lower, reclaim, squeeze from there. If they get over the 160s, which they're now over, they will try and print this now to come and take all this out. I got caught teaching there when I should have been focused on to buy. Never mind. Never mind, never mind, never mind. I don't know. Who just tipped me there? Is that Indy? Who's that? Indy, locked in 200 points today. Can go to the gym and relax. Thank you, my man. You didn't tell me you're a buy, though, lol. Indy, you're very kind, my friend. Big love, brother. I'll chat to you later. Indy, one of the top traders in my Discord right now. Absolutely crushing it. Very proud of everyone in Discord. They are a great team that support each other. We have a small niche Discord achieving great things together. All right, so now you need to hold 160. If they don't hold 160 and reprint higher, this will fade back down to 140s. And if you fail that, then there is a rotation lower at that point. That'll be a failed breakout of the high. Let me check ES. God, that thing's still going. All right, so ES is still looking, JD, it's still stuck right now at 34s. Again, over 34s, you're looking for 45s. But it's still stuck at 34s right now. So they need this pullback now. Buyers will not want this underneath here now. Right, because they failed this. This is getting dangerous. Remember, 160s, where we just talked about that 800 lot. They need to hold this and complete this move. All right, if buyers can't complete this move and they let go of this, they will be in trouble and there'll be a bigger wash available. But everything is buy side. Look at the flow zones, buy side. But this time we're pro trend. I don't give enough credit to my flow zones. I really need to focus on those more. I built them for a reason. I've kind of need to be focused on those a little bit more. Right, catching up with chat here. Sorry, folks. It's like that Matrix and Alex is Neo. That is literally it. Not that I'm Neo, but like once you a lot of people, this isn't meant in a nasty way, all right? This is really not meant in an offensive way. A lot of people are playing this game without understanding the game. They just are, right? So like smart money they just want to take your money, right? If you can get in the market, you don't know what you're doing, then thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep taking it, all right? You got to know the game, all right? And the best way of knowing the game is understanding who's stuck and where they're stuck. What big players are trying to do, all right? When it's a shakeout, when it's not a shakeout, when we have momentum, when we're building just in a range. Makes it so much easier. Eddie, I was up late and made 700. I'm telling you, Alex, you've helped me so much. You don't even know. Oh, thank you, man. Can you backtest Bookmap? I mean, you can manually go and do it. I don't know if there's a way of you like running an automated backtest, if that's what you mean. But you could manually backtest it, yes. But I don't know if you can do like an algo or a Claude or something like that to tell it like your strategy and do it. I don't think you can do that. I would say I'm an immediate trader. I want to be part of the Discord and learn the strategy. Should I get the beginner to advanced course and the volume and order flow course? Well, the thing is, AJ, the only way to get into the Discord is to do the beginner and advanced course. So, and if you want to learn how I trade volume and stuff, you'd have to do the other one as well. But the only way in is to do the beginner to advanced course. It just keeps Discord clean, man. It means everyone understands what they're looking at. That's the only reason. Alex, I struggle with evals, always moving from 49k to 51k. What is improvable? I struggle with finding an ideal size for a 50k account. Okay, D Flacco, 50k account, you don't need size, my friend. 1-2 micros, start with that. I don't know what type of account you're trading, whether it's a trail or whatever. But I would break it down. If you break a 50K account down into, let's just break it down into like 30 days or 20 days. All right, so 30 days obviously is just $100 a day. All right, that's your P&L. But let's just have a look for you. Let's do it a bit tighter. All right, so you got to make $3,000. Let's say you do it in 20 days, 4 weeks, 150 a day on average. You need to average. All right, 2 micros, my friend. That's $400 right there. Right, that's $400. That's $400. That's an $800 day. All right, without any stress. If you go and do a mini before you're ready to do a mini, all right, there's a big difference between a micro and a mini. Remember, a mini is 10 times the size. Then you're more likely to like take profit straight away, chase back in, get stopped out. The panic sets in, right? Process based. I mean, I've never been a batter in a baseball cage, but like, let's just say you start at 30 miles an hour, 1 micro, and then next week maybe, or a month later, you go to 40 miles an hour, 2 micros, and maybe like 3 years later, you're in a batting cage against 100 miles an hour because you can cope with it, all right? Because you've learned, and you can do like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, for example. You've got to earn the right to do it. You have to earn the right. So nice and small size, take your time, base hits, let your winners work. Just join. Can you please say what you would take if price goes in a direction? I mean, no, I don't really know what you're saying there. I can't figure out how to make NinjaTrader look like that. Someone suggested using volumetric data series. I've tried, but I still can't get the large orders to show up. But yeah, the volumetric. So, look, if you're using the free stuff on Ninja, give me a second. I'm using a different indicator, but if you're using the free order flow, right? If you come to your tools or indicators, hopefully this will load in a second. All right, if you come to your indicators and you scroll down to order flow, trade detector should be this one, right? Should be that one. And that would give you the bubbles. All right. I'm not using it. I'm using a third-party app. Okay, failing to break higher. Like I said, if they don't bid here, the buyers, they will get caught. So you can see how they're trying to hold this shelf at 40. Think about the pattern here. Right, buyers are trying to complete this rotation. They're trying to hold this to get this move, but this is a failed attempt. If they don't get this move soon, this will be a failed attempt, and you will see this sell potentially down to here, definitely down to IB, potentially down to here. I'm waiting for this. I am quite literally waiting for this at this point because I've missed this bid. So I have to be patient now and wait for it to come back for me. And I will wait happily all day. Hopefully it comes there. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they do a sweep under here and reclaim. I'll consider that. But I'd much rather we come back into this for me to rebid it. Would you mind showing Bookmap for SPY? I don't have it for SPY, I'm afraid, mate. I don't have it for SPY. I only have it for futures. I only pay for CME data. I got rid of all the other data because I don't trade anything else anymore. Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. Alex, in your course, do you teach us Bookmap and how to read the tape and everything you just went over? Yes, in the volume and order flow course, I do that. That's exactly where I go. So testing that level, if they lose this level, there's potentially a flush. I like personally, I'm not taking the shorts today, but if we start to lose this, I think there's a chance we rotate down into 25,000, 30s down to 25,000. I'm just going to wait. Had an okay day here. I'm waiting for some payouts to clear anyway. Wait for this to come down, see if we can scoop it back up. How can you spot if a bear flag is false or true? The easiest way to spot that is knowing where it's setting up on the higher time frame versus what it's setting up and reading what's going on inside the candles with order flow is probably the easiest way. Do I think it would still run higher? I mean, it's possible, but like we said, we don't really want to be a buyer up here. I mean, this was a buying opportunity, but we don't really want to be a buyer up here. Remember where we are. Remember to zoom out. Like that guy told me and taught me last week, telling me, you've got to learn to look at the H1, Alex. You clearly don't do it, right? Remember, I'm such an arsehole. Remember to zoom out, right? We're buying up here right now. Yesterday, it was at the lows, all right? That's why we wanted to pull back today. If we break out and hold, it's almost more willing to be a buyer. But at this point, we've got to be careful because we had 1, 2, 3 drives. They might come and clean this out, maybe tomorrow, and we can re-scoop it, all right? I'm open to that, especially if we don't take these highs. If we come down here and base and don't take these highs, or down here and base and don't take the highs, I'm more willing to play the upside, right? If we take the highs and we come down and lose interest in that upside bid because we've now done the damage. I do think there's a good chance of us revisiting this week, right? In the newsletter, we talked about this. I didn't think that was going to be possible this week. To be honest, I thought we'd come to 24,000 and maybe bid up and then fail back down, but we're not. We're not, and we can only play what's in front of us. All right, so sellers trying to take over here, and they're going to try and break below the 118s, and they're going to try and take us down to the initial balance low, 25.80. But I will be trying to wait for this blue block. Is what I'm going to try and wait for to re-scoop it. Do I have a video on NinjaTrader? Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. It's completely free. Have I tried to automate strategy? Get your words out. Have I tried to automate my strategies? I have. It's very hard because it just doesn't really work. It doesn't really work for me. Algos for me don't really work that well. Alex, after this week, I'll be going back to a full-time job. Do I have any suggestions for after hour and Asia sessions? Just be careful with the liquidity. That'd be my biggest thing. All right, you can get skipped on very quickly in Asia. Very, very low liquid. So you can always move to an asset which is thicker. Like you might find that gold is thicker in Globex than NQ, for example, but you'd have to do some research and back testing. Which third-party app do I use? I use Twin Peaks. Okay, so here's the sell, so it might come back down here. So if any of you are short for that break under 44s, you want to be paying yourself a bit here into 17s and 20s, and then 80s and then 40s. Like I said, I'm going to wait for them to either rebid here or ideally here. All right, I'm going to wait for a rebid down here if possible. Hopefully they don't do a little failure and go. How are we doing for time? Half an hour left. Okay, 1K likes here. We'll do some giveaways. Don't worry, folks. Alex question, does a pro trader turn over accounts often, or do they usually keep them for some time to build up equity? I don't know, man. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. Normally, you want to use some for cash flow and some to try and grow. Is the best way. So, like your daily payout ones are great for cash flow, and then the ones where it's payout every 8 days or whatever is better to try and grow them, I would say. No, I don't have any issue with Twin Peaks and my NT. No. Powell, 380 on the day. Nice work. Just passed 150k TPT off the short. Nice, mate. Nice work. Eddie, I made you a top tier sniper. That's all that matters, man. That's what trading's about, right? We're spray and pray. All right, we don't spray and pray. We want to have, you know, a nice snipe attempt, maybe 3 attempts at a headshot. That's how I kind of see it. All right, let's see if we can come all the way back to 580 and ideally 25,040. Some of you might be in this short. It's a valid short because we didn't hold here. Remember, we talked about this. Buyers will need to hold this level to complete the rotation. We don't really love the buy up here. There is a node here, but there's very possible we come to IB and ideally down to here. All right, and I'm going to think about a rebid off that zone. But IB will matter, as will down here. So that's what I'm looking for the market to come back towards. And I've just noticed it's not UTC5 on my left monitor. Got to change all these now. Sure, I did that yesterday and it hasn't saved it. This is just like yesterday, folks, in the fact that you just got to wait for your eyes on this box. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Come further down, my friend. Come further down. Am I looking for plays now? Yes. I mean, I am. I'm waiting for the market to move lower. All right, maybe here, but ideally down to here for a potential rebid. All right, so at the moment, we've seen a failure to break higher, all right, and 165, 160. Remember, we had an 800 lot, which they couldn't print above. So once we started moving 44, there's a legit short down here into TP1, TP2, TP3. I'm ignoring the short, right, just like I ignored the short here. I'm waiting for the pullback to see if they want to rebid. I'm just staying that way focused today. It's making my life a little bit easier than flip-flopping, all right? Like I can see the short, like we talked about it. You fail this, TP1, TP2, TP3. I'm going to wait to see if we can get down into this ideally, and then I'll think about a rebid. Alex, I'm surprised more people don't use cash accounts. I think quite a lot of people do, but I'd say, you know, probably more in less in the indexes, more in the ETFs and stuff, right? Less leverage, easier to run a cash account with less leverage. Have I seen Jacob Collier live? No idea who that is. Have I tried ATAS? No. Are you one of their promoters who emails me every single day asking me to build a course for them? I have not tried it, and I don't have the time to, like I told them. I can't right now. So I've got enough going on in my life. Relatively new subscriber here. This channel is legit. Same ideas. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you, JT. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, the third-party app's called. Here, let me just post it in chat for you. Just make it easier for you. If I can find a link. Jeez. There you go. Would I suggest sticking to one asset or trading multiple markets? That's a great question. I think that's a very personal decision to make. All right, so I'll give you what I do and why I did that. I come from small caps. Okay, so I would have my trade ideas scanner. I'd be looking at, like, you know, what's up on volume, what's up on momentum, what's a day 2 fade, what's a T+2 squeeze, like all these things. It was just overload. Okay, so I actually went from small caps to trading large caps, and then I just traded the same 5 stocks on rotation, and then I just started trading SPY, to be honest, more than anything. Especially while I was like, had to work on some music stuff for a while, and then I was putting more and more swing account positions on. Personalities of stocks matters. They matter. So it really depends what your capacity is. Like not every, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Not every index will be in play every day for your setup. So let's say you're a breakout trader, right? And it doesn't have to be like a breakout of high time frame, but maybe it's a breakout of a base. All right. If that's what you are, you're not always going to have a trade setting up in ES or NQ. But maybe if that's your trade, if you would rather focus on your trade than the index, you can cycle through. Maybe you're cycling through gold, silver, oil, you know, RTY, YM, etc., to find that trade. If you're not looking for one specific setup and you're more happy to sit and watch an index and learn its personality, like we know, NQ will overshoot levels. NQ will overshoot levels, all right, because of the way liquidity runs. ES, much thicker book, all right, so it tends not to overshoot levels. Like if we look at NQ this morning, all right, we didn't get down into this 795 and we overshot 165. All right, let's look at ES. Nice thick book on ES. Guess what it did? Oh, look, to the tick. Nice thick level, held it. Right, to the tick, held it and went. All right, and now we're at Globex, right? Not overshooting Globex, right? So if you like positioning and you don't like the volatility and you prefer sitting in it, arguably ES is a better look. For example, maybe it's time of day thing. Maybe you're only trading Globex. Maybe gold has a bit more liquidity in Globex because you're getting all the BRICS nations and China come out of the dollar, right? Which is, believe it or not, why we're actually at war underneath it all. So yeah, it's very personal is what I would say. What levels am I looking at? We've gone over this numerous times. Here and here. I'm going to wait for here and here. It's possible that they build out a range here, all right? Very possible. And maybe if I get lucky, they do that dunk, I buy it, they reclaim the range, they go higher, and I can sell some into the bottom of the range and hold a runner. Great. That would be my next setup for the day. My bookcase in the background. No, it's just it must be an optical illusion. It's pinned to the corner. Definitely not going to fall over. It's probably an optical illusion. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you, brother. FCT, what's your first trading strategy? Was it always order flow? No, it wasn't always order flow. Well, I mean, it was because I did use Bookmap, but I wasn't really good enough to trade it like I am now. The first thing I traded was short on small caps. What was the one that ran yesterday, like thousands of %, which everyone blew up on? Was it CCIT? Was it this? Let me have a check. I'll know very quickly. Yeah, this was it. Yeah, this was it. All right, pre-market yesterday. So you had longs make a killing and you had shorts get blown out of this. So let's just have a look at this. This was like a typical Chinese rigged stock. So we were trading, just let this sink in. We were trading, we opened pre-market yesterday at 34 cents, all right? Within a few hours, and this happened in 1 minute, we traded to $21. Right, we traded to $21. Now, I'll zoom this in so you can see it on a 1 minute chart. It happened very, very quickly. This is a 1 minute chart. All right, so at 8:06, we ripped from half a cent to $21. All right, so many shorts got fucking margin called on that and eaten. All right, and this is the type of trade I would look for back in the day, but I would be short biased. So where would I have been short biased? Well, I would have got blown out. I can tell you where everyone would have got short because you have to play it differently. They would have got short into 70s. They would have got short into ones. Is that the biggest move we've ever had? Let me check out a 4 hour. Yeah, all the shorts got blown out. There's a video going around. You'll see the guy that traded it long. He made $33,000 in 30 seconds. He was long from 50 cents. All right, so the type of thing that I would have done, and I would have lost yesterday, I can tell you that straight up, would have been fading this and this, looking for that return in. Now, this blew out, but as quick as it went up, it came back down. All right, so think about this. We moved from 804 to 805. We traded from 40 cents to $21. And by 808, we were back underneath $1. And by the end of the day, we're all the way back to 34 cents. So that is a rigged Chinese stock. That's what we call a rigged stock. But that was my first strategy, was fading shitty stocks. It's also where I made my most money and lost my most money on the same thing. So I would use Bookmap for that to try and see where they're positioned. But the difference is, right? The difference is we are now playing an index. So first of all, it's thicker. Second of all, it's a centralized exchange. So when you're on a centralized exchange, they can't hide orders the same way, and you don't get skipped on the same way. So that was the first kind of thing I really did outside of swings. Alex, for the video you created, NinjaTrader order flow, the NinjaTrader doesn't open for me. A bad link. Okay, I'll have a look. Thank you for letting me know. Alex, what strategy does the intermediate to advanced course teach? Does it use volume profile? Yeah, there's volume profile in there. It teaches lots of different strategies, man. Lots of stuff. Pullback longs, weekly models, like blow off tops. Alex, how do you manage your first trade stop loss? Do you manage all your stop losses the same way? Yeah, always the same way. So we're building out a range up here now, folks. And I would like them to not break out of this range, all right? The most preferable thing, as you can see, they're holding this gray box here. The most preferable thing, right, will be this trade here, reclaim and go, right? That would be the best thing that I would want to see today as a buyer of the market. All right, if you're going to be a seller of the market, you'd want a rejection here and that trade down. I'm going to be a buyer of the market down here. I want to see a breakout, buy, add, sell, ideally. But you can see this options level holding up. Just past the second phase, both my two 10Ks. Nice work. So summon the other shame buyers and sellers, move market Q, other I'm not sure what you're saying. Hiko, thanks, buddy. All right, here we go. Here we go. Maybe we can get this breakdown. Running out of time, though. Only got like 13 minutes. Alex was looking long. He got his position. I was looking short. I gambled instead of being patient and waiting for the confirmation. Like this top right here. I was supposed to wait 1 hour. Just chalk it off, real slobbo. Chalk it off. Don't worry about it. Next trade mentality. If you haven't got any more bullets, or if you're feeling tilty, close the screens down. Come back tomorrow. Alex, do the courses to get into Discord. Is there anything required? I've been listening to you in the AM and I want to join the team. Let me know what to do after the courses. Yeah, if you do the beginner to advanced course, scroll to the bottom of the course. There's like a module on Discord. Just do what it says in that module and I'll get you in. Brutal chart. I mean, it's just creating a range. Got to remember, guys. Look. Very much like we've had higher time frame, right? Pump, slow down. All right, and ideally for me, this, right? Higher time frame. If we think about the pump, we can't go one direction. If we think about the pump, higher time frame. Pump, slow down. I saw someone say the other day, oh, markets on fractal. Shut the fuck up. I watched his explanation of fractal. I was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Markets are absolutely fractal, but they don't work bottom up. They work top down. You don't see a pattern in lower time frame and then look for it higher time frame. You have what's happening in higher time frame and you look for it in lower time frame. Man, but some of the educators out there are a joke. Most of them live in the same part of the States, funnily enough. Right. Look at you guys. What's going on here? You're all battling each other to give super chats. I don't even know how to say your name. You P. Duvkelt. I've invested in Croon futures and it's significantly down. What should I do? I don't know where you got in, my friend, but if you are taking a loss, the best thing to do is eat the loss, right? If it's gone past your point of comfortability, but past your stop, you should be eating that loss. You can always get back in, remember. You can always get back in. Who did I learn order phone from? Pretty much taught myself, buddy. I mean, I started using Bookmap, like I said, back in 2019. Most of my most of the way I teach is just self-learn. It might sound ridiculous, but it just is. I probably learned more on courses in what not to do than what to do, apart from a very select few. But like I said, most of my training was small cap based. So like Ducks, Nate, guys like that. There's a retired Call of Duty player that's now a trader, and he has a video comparing the two. It's interesting. Yeah, it probably is. I mean, what was his name? Was one. He wasn't Call of Duty, but he was a professional gamer. Brian. He was a small caps player in IU. Someone help me out. I've got a thread where I was talking with him. I will find it. Great trader. Brian Lee. He was the same. Professional gamer. What's the day in the life of Alex? Well, I live in California, so it's still, it's coming up to 9 a.m. So it's getting up early, 5 a.m. up, a little bit of breath work and meditation, and a coffee to get myself ready. Morning prep, send the levels out, post everything in Discord, trade with you guys till 9, get off the charts, go and do normally a workout or at least a walk, if not a workout straight away. Come back, trade the afternoon session if there's a setup with the team in Discord, and then do some other work, and go to the gym if I didn't already go, walk my dog, and go and hang out with my wife. What's the blue thin line? This one up here. Value area high on the current developing week. And if you mean this one, it's my lower time frame algo down here. See how I'm like uninterested in the market right now? We got the move. I'm now uninterested. It has to build out liquidity. Appreciate your content, mate, and you make me more money teaching me trading than I spend on all the super chats. We love you here. Oh, guys, you've been very kind this morning, and lots of you being extremely generous. Thank you very much. Alex, I found it hard to do top-down analysis. It will come with time, my friend. If you're struggling with top-down, go to a line chart, right, and just mark out your pivots on a line chart. So go to a daily or a weekly, put your pivots in, then go to an hourly, then go to a 15-minute, then you'll understand where you're at. Which indicator from you is better, TradingView or Ninja? They're both good. It just depends what you trade on. Yeah, we're going to do a giveaway shortly, folks. Just let me get through these last few questions. We'll do it at lunch. Promise you, we're going to do a giveaway. Don't worry. Any of you on Sierra charts? I've never used them, but I've heard they're good, but I've never used them, so I can't really give a comment. PJ Trades was a Rainbow Six gamer. There you go. Can I recommend any books on trading? Yeah, we get this question quite a lot. Do you want it on like technical setups, or do you want it on psychology, or do you want it on... I'll just give you my go-tos. Well, most of you will know my favorite one is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. I think that is the best book you can read or listen to on Audible to give you an idea of like... For me, it's a perfect example of what I've done today, that book. It is a perfect example. I'm going around with my 8 iron right now. I'm not trying to play with my driver, right? I'm not getting a driver out here and getting absolutely crushed and hooking it and drawing it into the lake. I'm waiting to get my 8 iron out. All right, that's what I'm waiting for. Right, books. The World is for Sale. It's not really a trading book. It's a good book. World is for Sale. Let's see. Where are they all? Fooled by Randomness. Great book. Power of Letting Go. These are not trading books, but I think you'd find them useful. All of the Market Wizards. All of them, because there's lots. Unknown Market Wizards, if you want the most recent one. There's another one coming out this year, if it hasn't come out already. Best Loser Wins, obviously. Mental Game of Trading, Jared Tendler. Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas. Outliers, not necessarily a trading book, but I think it's useful for you guys to understand why we can't have fixed biases all the time. I'd say those. Atomic Habits, James Clear. That's probably your best ones. It's probably your best ones. I don't know who Day Traders Blueprint course. Don't know any of these people, guys. Do I go drift cars after markets? I do not. I do not. I did not learn trading from my dad. No. I mean, we discussed levels, but no. Is Discord free? It doesn't cost you money if you do the beginner to advanced course. It's free once you do the beginner to advanced course. It's a one-time fee to do the beginner to advanced course. There's no monthly fee or anything like that. But it's not free. You can't get in if you don't do the beginner to advanced course. It's not about the money, like I always talk about. It's because it's a niche, tight community where everyone understands the setup and can trade the same way. So if I'm explaining something, they know it. There's other mentors on there that can explain it. It provides opportunity for other traders to like partner up and learn together rather than have it completely free or like a monthly fee where everyone trades in a different way. Those are always the worst communities to be in. I know because I've been in them. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, it's all right. I don't agree on a lot of his views. The guy's been calling for the market to go to zero forever and ever, and he thinks a house is not an asset. So, strongly disagree with that. What was the first book I mentioned? Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. Do I have an entry and exit strategy for options? I don't really play options. I occasionally play leaps, but I'm not an options trader. Better off going to someone who trades options direct. Don't want to give you knowledge I don't have, and just it's not my wheelhouse. I don't play butterflies, iron condors, any of that stuff. But worth knowing if that's what you want to do, go and do it. I understand how they work. I just don't trade them. I don't actually have a car at the moment. I've got a Harley, and I've got a nice collection of motorbikes back at home. But I don't have a car at the moment. That's just me being honest with you. I heard one of these teachers say they made $2 million on Apex payouts. Don't know if it's true though, since he's an ICT guy. Yeah, two of them had $1 million payouts. Kane and Jade. Both true. And yes, they can trade. They're good traders. What hour is my late session? I'm not on YouTube in the afternoons. But I'm in Discord afterwards. Right, almost at lunch. Still, we're going nowhere. Network Capital. Yeah, bro, I've learned a lot in my 4 weeks watching your stream. Almost made enough to purchase your course. Nice, dude. Nice work. Good work learning. While we wait, do you mind going over the higher time frame setup again? Yep. What? Just why I was long biased today, you mean, I'm assuming? Okay. Balance range. Breakout balance range. Yesterday was short bias, looking for a continuation or retest of the low. Never came. returned into balance range means failed breakout balance range, means anyone short side trapped. Squeeze out of balance range. Once we come from one side of balance and we fail to break out, we expect to go to the other side of the balance range. All right, so my bias is then long. I don't want to buy the top of this balance range. I want to buy a dip to get up to the top of the balance range. So I'm long biased this morning, right? Whereas yesterday I was short biased. All the time we're rejecting that. I'm now long biased because we've reclaimed this level. Remember, this was red. We've reclaimed this level. I'm now long biased. All right, a flip into a long bias trader today. And we're looking for dips to hold, right? What were the dip opportunities? Well, this level here, this profile, and this here was the main one, the gray box, remember, from the previous week point of control node that we kept talking about that we're holding overnight. So once we came into that node and we trapped sellers in that node, we were looking for longs because we had a reason to take out all of these short stops, because anyone who got short here has become the pain to get here. And if we can get these short stops, we can come up to 280, 350 into this block here from Wednesday the 25th. Don't move that, Alex. From here. All right, so that's where I was long bias. Again, I was willing to either buy this gray box, or if they got very weak at the open, I was happy to buy this blue box down there for that rotation. All right, what I'm not happy to do is buy right up here, trying to get this move when this or this is available. All right, but they might now. What we might get today, tomorrow, which we have to be aware of depending on the weekly model, is a shove up, a clear out, a come back down, and they might then rotate it. All right, so I'm aware of a failed breakout this side of the range, just like we had this side of the range, like we had this side of the range, like we had this side of the range. This is the chop. The moment we are failing each side. So I'm aware of that. I am aware of that for the rest of the week. But at the moment, I'm long biased for that move. Motive wave I've never used, so I can't comment. What time frame do you mark levels on H1? It depends on the level, right? So obviously daily and weekly levels, daily and weekly charts. Previous day value, I do on a 1 minute chart. Previous week value, I do it on an hourly. I should probably do it lower than that. Eddie, my God, man, you guys are being amazing. Thanks so much. Thoughts on sim trading? Sim trading is great. It's what you should do until you're ready. Between the squeeze from Discord yesterday and today's, I've landed 6 end of day 150 Apex accounts. I'm so ready to keep this going. 6 months of hanging daily has changed my life. I'm slowly building the goal now. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's so nice to hear. I'm really happy for you. You mentioned a couple of times that you don't believe most of SMC. I didn't say SMC. I didn't say SMC. I didn't say SMC. No. Let's reframe that. You mentioned a couple of times you don't believe in most SMC. I see many doing good with it. What are you not fond of? I believe in smart money concepts. I don't like the guy teaching ICT because he's lying. All right. There's a big difference. Big fucking difference, right? And the guys having success with that, all right, have refined models which they are trading. All right. And we're talking about, just to be clear there, we're talking about Kane and JCap. I don't know what Jade's trading, but I know what Kane trades. He's basically trading fail breakout and continuation legs on higher time frame after a sweep. So I think he ideally looks for an H1, H4 sweep and then a return back in. That makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense no matter what. And I think he's refined quite a lot from hanging around with guys trading order flow. But I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it. But I know he can trade. What I don't like is this obsession that makes people think that it's actually true that a man made an algorithm controlling all the markets and that God told him what to do and it was kidnapped and put in a white van. And that's all bullshit, man. That's literally absolute bullshit. All right. It's how you create a cult, relying on a religion to create a cult. It's literally that. So I don't disagree with everything. I want to make that clear. I've never said all the teachings are wrong. What I don't like is the way they're drawn in. It's like gospel. Like, this is the only way because I made it. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Welcome, DJ. Thanks for joining. Do I mostly use previous week nodes for guidance? Yes, big time. Previous week and previous day nodes, very, very important. Just joined your channel to be supportive. You do an amazing job and would recommend it to anyone. Might have to do the course later, but I already have a good base. Nice, man. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. How would you trade multiple accounts together? You need a trade copier. I would suggest affordable indicators. All right, almost time for a giveaway here. We're 5 minutes past. I'm still waiting for this to drift down, ideally. Please review an orb strategy. You want the opening range strategy. Well, assuming you want the 15-minute breakout. Right, there's your orb, these white lines. All right, there's your 15-minute breakout. There's your TP into the low. Return back in would be a failed break. Go back to the upside. There's your hold of the orb, and that would be probably your measured move. In fact, it definitely would be measured move because your orb today is probably about half your IB. So if we go for your orb measured move today from the upside trade, yeah, that's 1.5, 1.6. So there you go. You had both opportunities. You could have traded it both ways. Short under here, right, versus the mid to this sweep. Reclaim here. Long out. And this might come down to our level. Do I ever use squeeze indicator? I have. I used to use it much more on small caps and stocks than I do on here, especially on high time frames. All right, let's set up this giveaway. Look, you just tapped the first level there. I really want this to come all the way down at this point. Really want this to come all the way down. Especially into lunch. I really want to trade into lunch if we can avoid it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is give away a free course. I've already had one, thanks. So just type course once in chat and we'll give away a free course for you guys. It's just the introduction course, the 2-hour, very easy course, but it's good for people that have never traded before. Name the trade copier, affordable indicators. Affordable indicators trade copier. So they're holding IB here. Like I said, dangerous into lunch. I'd like this lower to rebid it, really. It's possible that they bid off this, but I really would prefer this to just wash all the way down at this point into this block. That would be really nice. And we can think about a rebid down there. All right, give you guys 30 more seconds and we'll pull the winner. We're going to get this move soon. Okay, pulling this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maria June Music. I don't know if I've said that right. I'm so sorry. Maria June Music. Are you here, Maria? Maria June Music. I have probably absolutely butchered that as bad as you can get. Let me know you're here. There you are. Great. All right, just send me an email, please. info@flowzonetrader.com. All right, info@flowzonetrader.com. send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube. Look, they're finding a bid on this IB. I might be greedy, but I'm going to try and wait for this because they can still come up and reject 28s here. All right, so info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube so I know it's you. Maybe we'll do one Apex giveaway, even though you guys had 50 My Funded Future accounts. Here's the bid. Or if any of you took that, it looks good. You want to be paying yourself into these pivots, though, just in case they reject. I'm going to wait for a lower. Right, just type FCT once in chat, and we'll give away a free Apex account here as well. So FCT is the best code to use on most of your prop firms. Here's the squeeze. God damn it. So here's the test of the 28s. So if you did take this long off IB, you want to pay yourself a little bit of 28s, and then you can hold now. You can hold for reclaim. If they reclaim 44s, this thing really gets going. Oh, I was really hoping they'd drift me down. I did say either here or here, but at this point in lunch, I was thinking, I'll just wait for it to drift down. So there's the return in. This is your key level now. If they reclaim this, the continuation sets up to keep going. If they reject this, then we'll get this move and I can rebuy it. So selfishly, I'd quite like them to reject this, but I got a feeling you were about to turn the boosters on. So that IB coming in absolutely perfect there. I think the boosters are going on it. So quick. So quick there. They couldn't sell under 80s. They got themselves caught. Oh! No, we're not looking for a Tyson trade today. I don't think we're looking for a Tyson trade, but we'll see. All right. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Danny Snipes. I'm sure you've won before. You've got to be lucky. Danny Snipes. You hear Danny Snipes? Let me know you hear Danny. Nice. All right, same thing for you, Danny. info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in, please, to your YouTube, and we'll get you a free Apex account. All right, so you should have paid yourself on the way up there, and then you can just hold to see if you get acceptance over 45s now. I selfishly, like I talked about, I want this to reject and come lower. All right, I'm looking for them to use this range here as a sell point to come down here for me to pick up. All right, so we protected IB, Orb, and this little squeeze level, but I would really like them to come down here. It's just very selfish of me. I know, I'm sorry if you're in this long, but that's what I want. That's what I want. Because I'm a cheapskate. I am a cheapskate. All right, folks. I think that's it. You guys should be covered. You know what I'm looking for. I'm upside bias. All right, for me, I'm upside bias now. Think about this as the range. All right, here's your W. All right, we're breaking out. I really want them to come into this. They might well just bid this and continue. I'd love this bid. Once we clear out all of these levels, especially if we get up into here, then we can think about what's what. Ideally, they set that up for tomorrow. They might go in a range all day. It's possible. It's possible they just rotate this all day and don't complete it and leave the next move for tomorrow. I'm also okay with that. Remember, we've had the move today. Like, we had the move we wanted. What we wanted was this. All right, what we wanted was that. We've had the move. Chema, been watching you for a couple of weeks now, and I can absolutely see the improvement in my trading. Thank you. You're welcome. Alex, so those green boxes are gamma squeeze zone. These, yeah, they're cool walls, actually. They're not necessarily squeezes. The squeeze is where it's yellow, actually. So that squeeze from 40 to 80, while we ripped up. But they've now put a new one in. All right, so 165. And we've probably got some weeklies further up. Let me just have a quick look. There you go. All right, so oof. So the squeeze is on. Higher time frame over 80 to 285. Now, where did I say we'll go? 280 this week is where I'm thinking. Why? Because we've gone into bullish rotation and we should come and test those buyers who got stuck up there on a Wednesday. Where is that? Wednesday last week, was it? Was it 2 weeks ago? I have to move out of this here. All right. And again, this will be, we talked about this last week, this 280 zone. You can see where we get thick here. All right. So they're pricing that move in. Jesus Christ. They're pricing this move in. That's a lot higher. But definitely let 285. They're pricing that in potentially. So yeah, 2580 is key, ideally down here, but 2580 key can unlock a resqueeze higher at this point. I would like it lower because I'm a cheapskate. That's just how I am. Alex, is it true these traders we see online are all flashy? Are they really making money trading, or they're making money promoting props? I don't know, man. There are some which are very, very good. There's probably some which are very, very bad. It would be unfair to say that they're all good and or that they're all bad. I don't know many personally. Most guys that I'm friends with are not in this world. They are in trading world, but they're in the small cap world. So I don't want to comment too much because I don't know them personally. But I think there's definitely some scams going on. All right, folks. Big love all. Go and be safe the rest of the day. Don't be forcing your way in. Definitely don't be forcing your way into this market. All right. We can see it's very volatile. As a reminder, we're still elevated, right? VIX is still trading at 23s. All right. If we drift down on the VIX today towards those 21s, then I think you get that squeeze out. But we might well just balance between this and 25 for a while. And I will see you all again in the morning. Discord, I'll be here for a bit, but not much today. I have a meeting with Apex. So I'm going to go and see them for lunch. And we'll see what we can get done with some of the new rules and stuff and have a good chat about it. All right, everyone. Peace and love. Be kind to each other. Use hard stops, all that good stuff. Be willing to be self-reflective. Don't let your ego dictate life. I'll see you in the morning.